Hello, my sweet dear magical friends. Welcome to Common to the week before it all goes public. This week, we are in the eclipse wormhole. We're coming off of everything is playing out from September the 17th, partial lunar eclipse in Pisces at 25 degrees. This is a preview of what is to come over the next 2 and 3/4 years, almost 3 years in the Pisces Virgo axes. So, if there's been anything uh, that fell through or troubling or disappointing or loss or anything of that nature, do not fear spiral and think that that means that you're going to have 3 years of, if you're a Virgo rising, you're not going to have, if someone broke up with you and skipped town, you're not going to have 3 years of people bottoming out. Okay. This is okay. So, I mean, I'm just people, everyone I'm seeing people, getting sick, getting injured, all kinds of what's manifested three densities down is people's stress and worry and anxieties and fears and stuff like that. So all is well, all is good, everything's okay. This week is between that eclipse and the eclipse on October the 2nd. It's a it's a solar eclipse, but it's on the south node. This is a buildup to that, but a wind down from the first eclipse. Now, I'm particularly not a fan of when the eclipses happen this way, when there's a lunar eclipse first and then there's a solar eclipse, because people will feel like just endings everywhere, ending, 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 ending. And they don't, we're looking for some kind of like bright spot, especially with this one. This is a juicy one, very, very juicy. And so when the eclipse season starts with a solar eclipse, it's like, oh, new things starting, new things starting. And then there's like an ending. So if you are feeling particularly disheartened, don't worry, don't fear. Don't fear. Okay. Because you're heading into the new thing. You're heading into a very new thing, but to release, there's still an element of endings and release and letting things go. So okay, so let's a little bit more of this overview. It's a big week for Mercury. And I was testing this out because my first inclination is that Mercury is done with the retrograde when it's totally out of the sign that it retrogrades in. And I thought maybe I'll test it because technically, and what you'll read is that when Mercury is out of the shadow period, the Mercury retrograde is completely done. And so I wanted to give that a test and just watch everything because of the degrees of this particular and then the going back into Leo coming back. I'm like, maybe that's true. But I really feel through observing and especially my clients' charts and everything, I really feel like my first impulse was right. And I feel like we're going to feel that when Mercury moves into Libra, completely out of the sign of Virgo on September the 26th. So, greatest elongation to the 𝚃𝚎𝚎 happening on the 30th of September. Is it 30th? I think it's the 30th, and it's like the 29th and the 30th. So, it's going to be 7 degrees Libra. And then we're going to have the eclipse. Oh, yeah, it is actually 7 degrees Libra on the 30th, 9 degrees Libra on the 1st. And then at 10 degrees Libra, we have the eclipse. All right. So, this basically, your overall for this week ahead, that's when everything kind of goes public. It's going to be like as we're going into October, we're going to have a beautiful grand water trine. It's going to be juicy in its own way, but this is going to be like kind of like a debut of something. But because this is debuting, it means that, okay, well, then this is definitely, um, how would I put this? This is almost like, you only have time in the schedule to do like one thing at a time. And so when you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, everybody, maybe everyone knows like, okay, well, that's also going on at the same time. So they're not doing that, they're doing this. So it's kind of like more of that kind of an eclipse that we're leading towards. But Mercury is doing a lot. And I really feel like it's really wrapping up old business for this last week, and a big, huge, heavy emphasis on closing out the old business of the partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 17th. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into this. Monday, the 23rd of September, we have the moon. I always forget to do this. So make sure to check out all of my links down below. Patreon is where the flow is going. For 1111, you get absolutely everything. All the tools you need, all of the resources, everything, all the meditations, all of the guides, all of the journaling, all of the videos, all of the instruction, absolutely everything. And then the middle tiers I've turned into the 1111 tier plus donations. And then the very highest tier is if you would like one-to-one mentorship, and if you want to be BFFs and you want to text and you want to if you want like more like real time back and forth feedback, question and answer about anything that you're going through, whether it's healing, whether it's a skill that you're developing, skills, talents, and abilities on the psychic spectrum. Yeah, so I'm there and available for that. You can also book readings with me through the Stan link down below, the Stan store, and those never expire. So I've got I think I've got like 2 or 3 people holding on, holding on to like they sometimes people will hold on to readings for like an emergency, break in case of emergency. So we have they never expire. So Beautiful Precious has one, and 2 other people have them as well. So yeah, you can reserve it and then, you know, use that card when something comes up if you like. They never expire. Okay. And anything else on my side? Not really. Okay. Sorry. Back to Monday, the 23rd of September. We have the moon in Gemini at 4:57 squaring Saturn in Pisces. This is very much speaking very prudently if you're awake. This is all Pacific Standard Time. If you're awake at that time, speaking very mindful of the future, that is Saturnian, that is Capricornian, of everything we think and feel and do. It is all with the future in mind. It is all karmically inclined. We are always, if you're a good Capricorn and you're Capricorning really great, you're constantly watching your karmic back to make sure absolutely nothing can bite you in the bottom in the future. That is prudent thinking ahead before you speak, before you do things, before whatever. So speak strategically, prudently, and to make sure you're speaking that way, you have to think that way. You have to be alive in your mind in a very responsible way. At 1537, the moon will conjunct, meet up with, schmooze up to, give a little kiss on the cheek to Jupiter and Gemini. Details, fun details. Gemini energy loves the details, loves to connect, loves to meet people, make new friends, learn new things, stay curious, stay open minded. And then at 1746, the moon will sextile Chiron in Aries. Love that for healing, feeling very healed. So any wounds connected to leadership, striking out on your own, pioneering a bright, brand new path. Coco Moco just put up a love her stuff, a video about Fight Club that when it first came out, it was like a huge bomb. Like everybody hated it. And it got booed at the Venice Film Festival. And I just, it's so truly iconic. And that when it first, and I think it came out, I did look this up. I wish I wrote what I looked up down, but I believe Neptune had just entered Aquarius at that time. And Neptune is like film and television. And I remember looking up Cloud Atlas and like the Wachowski siblings, like that stuff came out. And a lot of that stuff came out when Neptune was in the beginning of Pisces. Neptune's at the very end of Pisces right now. So when you have Neptune at the beginning and at the end of like signs, especially these particular signs, Aquarius and Pisces, new, different, progressive art that is so ahead of the curve that when it gets, and her video was about how it gets, it got booed, and it's like a cult classic, and she was saying something like, if your if your artwork gets booed when it first comes out, that's like, that could be a green flag that it's going to become like a cult classic. So um keep that in mind with the Aries stuff, because people, you need the vision. You need to have that vision, and you need to trust in your vision to be an effective, good leader. So, with this moon sextiling Chiron in Aries, I feel like it's healing any, for instance, apparently the story, as the story goes, Edward Norton, during the booing at the Venice Film Festival, apparently he apparently said that Brad Pitt was like laughing his ass off the entire freaking movie, and looked to him during the loud booing and said, "That's the best film I'm ever going to be in." He was totally right. Everything else sucks. And so, I think he's a Sagittarius. I don't really remember, but knowing what you're doing, and knowing what you did, and knowing, being very conscious of your energies and of your confidence is the kind of like the only way to live, kind of. Okay, enjoy Monday. Tuesday, the 24th of September at 1:13, the moon in Gemini will square Mercury in Virgo. This is very new stuff. Okay, these are very new ideas, new things. Neptune at the very end of Pisces. And here's where the spiritual splitting you might have seen and felt at the eclipse, and that you may continue to feel as the week unfolds. The spiritual splitting. So people's anxiety and fears are going to be at an all-time high with Neptune at the end of Pisces, and people are going to be freaking themselves out. And other people are going to have the most faith, the most belief, the most spiritual confidence. They're going to be, or people are going to be at the height of their creativity. They're going to be at the, or the romance. Some people are going to be living out the greatest love stories ever told, or writing them. I was on a I watched Love Actually again and downloaded the script, and I'm thinking of like, I'm thinking of rom-com ideas, because I look for rom-coms to watch, and I'm like, can't just watch Love Actually of 50 million times. You know what I'm saying? So, the height of creativity, the height of romance, the height of faith, the height of spiritual passion, but it's your choice. And this is a spiritual splitting. So if anything dropped out or dropped off and they don't have the faith, let them go on their path. They're going to see later, after everyone else validates it, that Fight Club was an absolutely iconic movie and really amazing, all this stuff. But you have to know what you're doing. you know, this is like when you fall in love with someone your parents hate, and it's like the best, you leave your whole family to be with this person, and it's like the best decision you ever made because it's the right person, you know? And so, but you have to know that. You know what I'm saying? You have to have that conviction. So Tuesday, moon squares Mercury. It's very new ideas. 5 o'clock, moon squares Neptune in Pisces. Inspiration. This is going to have us waking up Tuesday morning feeling, dreamy and inspired. Even if there's like a nightmare or something, that's okay. Stress dreams are okay. We say the word dream, but that's like how we interpret all the astral projection and everything else we're doing. Then the moon goes void until 7:49 a.m. The moon enters Cancer. So when the moon is in Gemini over that weekend and Monday, it's still sort of cerebral. It's still sort of heady. Then when the moon goes into Cancer for Tuesday, Wednesday, part of Thursday, it's super, super juicy. Then the moon's going to be in Leo Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then it's going to be showtime. And then it's calm down time when the moon enters Virgo, Sunday, Monday, and part of Tuesday of the week after. And then the moon's in Libra and we're at another eclipse. So back to Tuesday, the moon enters Cancer 7:49 in the morning. It feels good to feel. So, let the emotions be very juicy 10:37, Mercury in Virgo trines Uranus in Taurus retrograde. So I'm starting to like really see astrology very, I think I'm having some kind of like breakthrough or something with just like how I'm like how it's looking to me, looking at the same glyphs and symbols for years and years and years, but it's just changing. I'm seeing stuff. So um Mercury traversing over the same spots and doing the same aspects that the sun and Venus did. So Venus did it like the end of August. The sun is doing it actually right now as so the 12th of September, the sun squared Jupiter. What's today? Today's Thursday, September the 19th. Today, the sun trines Uranus. Tomorrow, Friday the 20th, the sun opposes Neptune. Saturday, the 21st, the sun trines Pluto. And then the 22nd, the sun enters into Libra. We already talked about this. But now that Mercury is doing the same stuff, Friday the 20th, squaring Jupiter, now we're here on Tuesday, 10 a.m. in the morning, where the trine to Uranus is going to help to, it depends where people really are. So some people need to like start thinking originally, and this is going to help them. Other people have already been thinking originally, and this is like saying it with your chest and communicating and deal making and negotiating, signing contracts and getting out of commitments. You know what I'm saying? Like real moves happening. Mercury is the one that gets the deal kind of done. And so or sharing of the information depending on what you're doing and how you're using this energy. 11:30, the moon in Cancer trines Venus in Scorpio. Beauty is looking different. It's not the Elizabeth Taylor beauty anymore as of Sunday the 22nd. Venus in Scorpio beauty is, what's that lyric? She's hell on wheels in a black dress. It's a very black dress Venus. This is like an intense smoldering beauty. This is not like a superficial go along to get along. This is the one that gets along with everybody I know beauty. This is the one where it's like she is who she is and she's not going to get along with everybody in my life, but she's gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous because of the intensity of conviction. This is about like emotional intensity. This is not go be with crazy girl or crazy guy or jealous guy or you know what I'm saying? It's not that. It's not that scorpionic energy. It's this like dare to be vulnerable, dare to be emotionally intense, dare to be very convicted. But the value that we see, the opportunities that we're getting presented with, they will have to be intensely emotional, spiritual, creative, regenerative. Venus, Pluto, Venus, Scorpio is regenerative, emotionally regenerative. The cup runneth over. It's that kind of person. This is almost like the priestesses in the temples that would sleep with the warriors that came back from war, and they lived on the outskirts of the town and they slept with the warriors before the warriors went home to the villages and their wives and their families so as to not like traumatize and share the trauma with the community. And like they're all you know PTSD and stuff. So it's almost like the beauty is in people and opportunities and situations that can hold so much intensity and like really bear it or wield power. Kind of like Galadriel in Lord of the Rings, but a little bit more smoldery. She was very beautiful because she like resisted the one ring of power, but it's more like a very powerful kind of divine feminine, but a little bit like a darker divine feminine, like maybe a little scary, but sexy. Not too much scary, just a little bit of scary to keep it interesting or fun or something. And this is going to be part of the new solar eclipse in Libra with the grand water trine. So it's going to be more of a thing. Tuesday, we're still on Tuesday. Beauty is intensity of passion. 11:49, the quarter moon, the waning, losing in light quarter moon in Cancer, squaring the moon in Libra. This is cleaning up after the party, after the Pisces party. It's okay. I don't know what it was for you guys, but it was both for me. It was Pisces party and Pisces crises. And it was like, geez, that's what's not there. That's what just disappeared without a trace and poof, gone, you know? And it's like, okay, now I know, now I know. But it's not that that's why I'm saying don't fear spiral, because it's not like, oh, it's three things of things just like disappearing. No, I took something out that I was doing for free and did not get financially compensated for it. They kind of just disappeared and now they have no digital footprint all of a sudden. So no, it's not 3 years of doing that. I've never had that happen before, to be honest, in my like 5 years of doing this. So kind of unprecedented, but it's the end of doing things for free. You know what I'm saying? Like I did a lot of work and did not get financially compensated for it. So it's the end of that. It's, you know what I'm saying? So don't get all fear spirally if things are, you know, rocking and rolling over the next little while that we're in these eclipse wormholes. So the quarter moon, it's acceptance. It's practicing acceptance. So whatever the challenges are, the changes that we're going to need to make are all going to be internal. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be, yeah, cleaning up after the party, cleaning up the remnants, closing out old business of the Pisces eclipse. 1957, the moon in Cancer will T square the nodes of its own nodes. You're going to have to muster the confidence to go your own way. You're going to have the emotional confidence, the spiritual connection, and maybe you will want to avail the help of the people in your life, the South Node in Libra, to make that happen. But you have to have the right people to talk to. You have to talk to the ones that already support your goal so that they can just like gas you up and be like, you can do it, keep going. You can do it, keep going. You don't want to talk to the people that have been criticizing you the entire way. And then you go to them in a weak moment and they're gonna, you know, jump on it while the iron's hot and beat you down and convince you to turn back. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you just pick the right people around you. Wednesday, the 25th of September at 4 o'clock, we have Mercury in Virgo opposing Neptune retrograding in Pisces. This is like escorting. Mercury is like this escorting vagueness and ambiguity out of the building in the Pisces area. So Neptune in Pisces wants to give us faith, healing, compassion, empathy, psychic ability, romance. Did I say creativity? You know, all of those things. And some people are using it to make their fears real and really tweak out and worry, fear. And Saturn, that's why I love Saturn since March 2023, or of the vagueness and ambiguity. March 2023, Saturn has been saying, no, 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 no. That's not real. This person's fake. This isn't true. This isn't the right way for you. This, you know what I'm saying? So this is kind of like a little bit more of that, where Mercury in Virgo is kind of reinforcing that Saturn energy and saying, no, 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 no. No. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, my dear. Oh, dearie, no, no. So you want to, now, on one hand, if you're trying to pin someone down on something, they could be totally evasive. They could be like not wanting to answer. They could disappear. You go to push for definition. Maybe you're trying to be the Mercury in Virgo and there's nothing there. The person's gone or something like that. But this could be very, very inspiring. This could be great for meditation, for creativity, for having conversations about creativity, having conversations about romantic planning, having conversations about spiritual pursuits or energy stuff. Actually, I really actually love this for energy precision. That Virgo energy is it's wonderful for precision. Neptune does not like that. Pisces does not like that. They like room and a flexibility for like, they just like all kinds of flexibility. So, you know, don't be surprised if pinning something down is difficult. still push for the definition, but just go as far as what's in your control. You can be creative on your own. Don't feel like you're dependent on something or someone else to be romantic, creative, spiritual, artistic, inspired. If there's another person there, if there's other people there, or if there's something you're trying to give structure to, that could be helpful. But don't get like, the quarter moon in Cancer, Mercury's literally going to leave Virgo. So this is like, on one hand, it could even be the height of something where it's like, well, is the faith there? Is the I would look to the record. I would look for the history. I would look for consistency over a long period of time to make that kind of discernment. Like with the Pisces eclipse, if something wasn't there for you in the Pisces area, if you went for to do something with the person and they dropped out, you know, don't fear spiral and think that it's going to be 3 years of that. If it's either not the right person and it's a different person that's going to step in and that's going to be there and they're going to match your romance, your creativity, your passion, your spirituality, and that's going to be the person. Or if it is meant to move forward with this person that maybe they dropped out at the eclipse and then they want to support you, that's your call to make. I don't have your chart right in front of me, but you want to look for the consistency. You want to look for the record of the relationship. So this is a lot better for relationships that have an established positive record of positivity. Because if it's a marriage, for instance, or a business partnership, and or a collaboration, it could be they're coming down with the flu and they got really freaked out because their mom told them something earlier in the day or is going through something, and they just kind of like took it out on you or something. Then there's room for some kind of compassion. They're like, okay, I had a moment, but we're talking this out, and then there's all this stuff happening, and so okay, now let's do it to it. That Mercury is going to help clarify the feelings, but they have to be willing to do that. Both have to be very present and very there. So this could be like a really highly evolved meeting of the minds when you're on the same wavelength, spiritually, creatively, artistically, therapy, healing. Or it could be the final thing where you're like, okay, this is really, the eclipse was the break of a fracture in a situation, relationship, whatever. And then that Mercury opposing Neptune on the 25th could be like the final discussion of where it stands, and then kind of accepting where it stands. And then we really know where the whole Mercury retrograde was to kind of, okay, this is where everybody stands, you know? And then Thursday, Mercury moves into Libra, totally different vibe. But we're still on Wednesday, the 25th. That's at 4 a.m. It hits at 4 a.m. So you're going to be feeling it Monday and Tuesday too. But it peaks at 4 a.m. Pacific time Wednesday. At 5:39, the moon conjoins Mars in Cancer. That's very strong, very passionate feelings. Very, very, this is very, very strong. And just so you guys know, we are going to have this Mars retrograde in Cancer doing some very impressive things. And I am going to, of course, do the video on it and everything. If anyone is a Cancer sun, moon, rising, and you will have, we've been bullied for the past 15 years really badly by Pluto and Capricorn. And this Mars retrograde is like, not with me. Not with me. Bucko. So there's that. And then Capricorns. have been coming into our power for the past 15 years on our own. And we're also saying, not with me. Not with me. This is how it's going to go if you're going to move forward with me. So it's like we'll talk more about it, later. But this Wednesday moment with Mars and the moon meeting in Cancer, it's very, very strong feelings, very, very strong, very passionate. But it could also light the ire. So, if this is a hard time for friendships, for instance, if they said they had your back, but then the Pisces eclipse came up and they're like, okay, I don't have your back. This could be, well, this could be like, well, we're too far apart. Don't be afraid to move forward with different people that are on the same wavelength. Then at 10:52, that moon in Cancer will trine Saturn retrograding in Pisces. Current circumstances are helping to stabilize the Pisces area of life. So if you have that conviction, if you have that passion, then you're going to be able to use whatever the day is bringing to stabilize and concretize and push, and like just not even push, but just like have the definition in the Pisces area. So this would be like you get the, you're inspired, there's healing, you're specifically past grievances and stuff like that. There could be empathy and compassion and healing, moving on. And that will firm up relationships with the Saturn. That will firm up belief and faith. It'll firm up creative pursuits. 21-22, Mercury in Virgo trines Pluto retrograding in Capricorn. This is very powerful conversations. Planning, agreements, meetings, thinking. Powerful energy to change your thinking. So some people, if you have not been building the momentum, especially with this Mercury retrograde, if you just like fell to pieces, this could be a little too much, where some people are just getting like fear spiral energy, and they're ruminating, and they're not comfortable in their own mind. Whereas if you took the Mercury retrograde literally from like the middle of July to the beginning of September, but I feel like it's really done when Mercury leaves a sign, which would mean that it's from the middle of July until like September the 26th. Oh my God. But if you took that time to rethink and reorganize and re-strategize, look at something different, and like kind of get it together, then you can use this more powerfully. Otherwise, people may be more susceptible to kind of be pulled under the waves of whatever that Pluto and Capricorn has been working on in your area of life, in that person's area of life for like 15 years. And that's like something you feel is controlling you, but it's really you like using this thing to control yourself, when instead of you taking control back. So there's a level of ownership. You've got to own that responsibility. And a lot of people will not want that. They will want to think that it's that they'll just want to think differently. Thursday, the 26th of September, midnight 37, the moon in Cancer squares Chiron in Aries. If you're awake at that time, confront it, face it, to heal it. Thursday, the 26th of September at midnight 37, the moon in Cancer squares Chiron in Aries. If you're awake at that time, confront it, face it, heal it. 1:10, Mercury enters Libra. Fully, for real, totally and completely putting to bed the Mercury retrograde for me at least, where we're fully put the whole freaking enchilada behind us. And now, very, very interesting, because we're moving really, really close to the 𝚘𝚎𝚘, And this is where, so I really feel like, you know, I mean, I'm recording this like on the 19th, but like this, yeah, like this week, even like from today, Thursday the 19th to Wednesday the 25th, is so much wrapping up and closing out, moving on. I'm so excited. Aren't you guys excited? Like wherever the chips fall with the Pisces eclipse, you have to, I'm gonna talk about this a lot more with um the nodes officially moving into Pisces January the 12th of 2025. It's my nodal return. I have my North Node in Pisces. Astrologers will know exactly what that means. So with Mercury into Libra, I feel like we have really closed out lingering things like Pisces energy, like just like can linger. That's why I feel like people getting sick, it's like you're maybe not even fully sick, but you feel like you might be getting sick. Or if you're done getting sick, it's like lingering. You know what I'm saying? It's just got this like sickly, just difficult to pin down. Like, do I need rest or more water or Tylenol or, you know, nothing's working, but I'm not feeling incapacitated. That's just like this, like, you know, and I feel like when Mercury moves out of Virgo, we'll be done defining. We'll be done trying to like needle it down. We'll be done trying to uh, figure it out, or we're done talking about it. We're done reorganizing it. We're, you know, we're done like manifesting it. It's like, okay, this is what we're bringing down into manifestation. This is it. So I really feel like Thursday could be a very big shift in the energy just with Mercury moving into Libra very early in the morning. And then the orientation is going to be more about people, the people and the connections and the discussions and the talking and the sharing. So we're getting closer and closer to this thing becoming more and more public. Then 1238, the moon in Cancer trining Neptune retrograde. That could be glorious. That could be very, very glorious indeed. 1511, the moon in Cancer opposes Pluto retrograding in Capricorn. Do not allow yourself to be bullied and do not bully yourself. This is another indicator. This is another thing that could be something that comes up thematically throughout the next like 8 months. And then like the Venus Mercury retrogrades we have next year, like next spring, like there is something, there's these big changeovers happening that I feel like, for instance, like at this spiritual splitting with this Pisces eclipse, like the people, this would be like the eclipse and Pisces on the 17th was like the Venice Film Festival and Fight Club premieres and everyone's fucking booing it. But then in the spring of 2025, everyone's going to love it and it's going to be a cult classic. And that's that Venus Mercury retrograde in spring is going to be for those people. So if you are ahead of the curve and you're frustrated with all these energetically weak people, ye of little faith, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, so, or ye of little romance, ye of little creativity, ye of little imagination, ye of, you know what I'm saying? Like, just know what you know. You're going to be riding high spring 2025. We're setting you up. So, this opposition to Pluto, again, kind of like the Thursday conjunction with Mars, where people are going to resent not even what you're doing. It's not even like they resent that you're with someone they don't like or that you're doing something they don't like. It's more that people are going to resent your power, your fortitude, your conviction, your inner strength, your indomitable will. That's really going to be what it really is about. Okay. So remember, there's only two signs in the zodiac that wear crowns. It's Leo and it's Capricorn. Leo's crown is brilliantly blazing in the light. The jewels sparkle from miles away, and Capricorn's crown is completely invisible. We like to be the power behind the scenes. That's what, whereas Leo wants the fame and the glory and the praise and the attention and bask in the light and the limelight. So this opposition, this kind of comes up again later, but right here in Thursday, the moon opposing Pluto, that's like a seizure of emotions. Like there is something very, very powerful happening. It's very big reactions. And because it's Pluto, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if, jealousy comes up, or, something that was under the surface emotionally in a situation. So look out for that. Then that's the last aspect the moon makes before it goes void, of course, until 1547 enters Leo. It's time to feel yourself. It's time to seek that validation or enjoy giving yourself the validation. And guys, this is literally how I live my life. I validate myself. I don't wait for anyone else to validate me. And that's what you want to do. So when you do that, though, I mean, people are going to resent you. Everyone hated Jesus Christ, okay? They hated him. Look what they did to him. If he weren't, they would have asked him, who do you think you are, Jesus Christ? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you're going to have to go forward with your spiritual confidence and just let things fall away to allow the right to come in, like the fountainhead. I'm very Howard. I'm not quite that extreme as Howard work, but I'm pretty, I'm pretty close. Oh man, Patricia O'Neill in that movie. And the dresses, like her wardrobe. Oh my God. That black thing in the beginning when she throws the, ah, sorry. Where were we? Thursday, the 26th, 1818, the moon in Leo sextiles Mercury in Libra. Connect with people. Connect with people, talk to them, and meet new people. Connect on things that you all like. Connect. Friday, the 27th of September, we're entering kind of like into the balsamic phase of the moon energy, which is privacy. We're going to want privacy. It's resting time. It's when we're kind of starting to like really close down energies to prepare for something new coming in. And you're going to want to just reflect on this whole lunar cycle from basically the whole month of September, from the 2nd to, what is this day? That's Friday, the 27th, and really the whole weekend. Really kind of sit with it, sit with the month, and think about what worked, what didn't work, what happened, what didn't happen, people, everything, how you feel, how you felt, what you would have done differently, if anything. And you're going to see, like, look for the eyesores because they're going to stick out, the big eyesores. And it's like, this is like way after the harvest. Like you've already harvested, you've already packed it all away, you already put your tools away, and now you go to eat something and you have the jar of pickled whatever, and you open the jar and you eat it and it's delicious, and you're like, damn, I did it all good. I planted the seed, I nurtured that plant, I friggin' took care of it. It grew up and got nice and strong on its own. It bore fruit. I plucked up the fruit. I processed the stuff, and I canned it. I cleaned the little, I boiled the jars, and I did all the little things. And now this is delicious, and I'm happy with what I did this month. Or you're going to be hungry in the winter, going to go for your jar of whatever, and it wasn't canned right, or you didn't boil the jars and the got bacteria in it, and the whole crop is all the jars on your storage is fucked. And you're like, I didn't do it right. I didn't, that's like the eyesore. So you're going to want to look for what those things are, and just kind of sit with it and use that energy to further inform your next new start, which is, I mean, it is going to be like a solar eclipse with the south node, but just learn from it. As long as you learn from it, you're good. You're all good. 147, the moon in Leo squares Venus in Scorpio. This is exactly how I felt today. This is like the moon in Leo wants attention, but Venus in Scorpio wants privacy. And I felt like this today, this morning. So this morning I posted a new telekinesis video on my TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. It's the same handle, Watch Natalie. And I shared it because I felt someone telepathically need me to post it. I felt that someone needed to see a new telekinesis video from Natalie, fresh. Like, been too long since Natalie put up a telekinesis video. We need fresh. What is she doing right now? Let's see what it is. You know, like I just felt it. And so yeah, so I did it like in the morning, you know, when I'm doing my energy work and stuff like that. And you know, right now I'm doing it eyes only. Look, mom, no hands. And so I wanted, ideally in my mind, I wanted to wait until I could move denser, heavier objects with my eyes only before I resumed posting. But I felt my spidey senses like someone needed to see right now. And so you got it. So you may feel, and this is overnight, this is 1:47 in the morning. So there could just be that like crunch, you know? And so you know, I got over it and I just posted the damn video. But like don't get you know, stuck on things having to happen a certain way or in certain timing or with certain people. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay flexible. 4:36, the moon in Leo trines the north node in Aries. Confidence takes you where you want to go. You have to believe in yourself. 2004, it's like 8 o'clock at night Pacific time, the moon in Leo quincunxes Saturn and Pisces retrograde. Circumstances want you to get creative, mature, like in a mature way, wants to give structure to the crush that exists as a feeling, wants you to act on a creative impulse, wants you to publish the, I don't know, your mural in progress on the thing, you know, on an Instagram. So that's all on Friday evening. But you'll have to be like I said, measured and mature and practical and prudent. Think of the future. Prudent. Saturday, the 28th of September, 6:23, we have Venus in Scorpio quincunxing the North Node in Aries. Try to recognize the opportunity to advance in the Aries area of life. It may just feel and look different. That Venus in Scorpio could be kind of just not cagey, but there just may be like just getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. That's all. 10:36, the moon in Leo trines Chiron in Aries and sextiles Jupiter in Gemini. That's really nice. That's very healing for confidence wounds, you know, to go your own way and pioneer your own thing. Sextiling Jupiter in Gemini, grow your network, talk to new and different people, and you know, find the good vibes, the good pulses of energy, the bright little flames. When the two flames meet and they start talking and conjoining, you know, friends, friendship, whatever, it makes a bigger flame, you know? And when you have a bunch of people, you get a bonfire and you're like, you know? So love that. 2035, the moon in Leo squares Uranus and Taurus and then goes void the rest of the day. Switch it up, innovate, think outside the box. New hair, new lipstick, new something aesthetic or creative, probably. Try it out. See how you like it. And then Sunday, here we are, the 29th of September. We have Mercury and the sun crossing the south node. Is it the sun too? Yes, it is. It's Mercury and the sun crossing the south node at 6 degrees. So Mercury does it. It's the coming and going of karmic comrades from past lives. So it could be some we're releasing and letting go of some relationships. Others are coming back up from the past, whether they're in this lifetime coming back from the past to at a fated moment in time that could really help you, or they're new person, but from a past life that feel very, very familiar. And then the sun, this could be like revival of classics, you know, or or releasing some ego identities. So this would be like, we are no longer, look on the world stage. There could be partners changing up. There could be, part of, for some people, this public, it's about to become public domain energy, like literally the very next day on Monday, the 30th. It's a change of collaborations and partnerships where, it's not going to be these two doing this. It's going to be these four doing that. And it's, you know what I'm saying? So this could be like, and it's like I said, becoming public, it's being publicized or talked about, or it's visible. It's becoming more and more visible. And the sun crossing the south node happens like overnight, like midnight 24. At 2:02 a.m. in the morning, the sun, excuse me, the moon in Leo quincunxes Pluto in Capricorn. That's like attention versus power again. Like these are the crown wearing signs. So it's almost like maybe the circumstances need you to be the face, need you to be in front, need you to say something, need you to show something. And quincunxing that Pluto and Capricorn, there could be, it depends on your situation, but there could be, a different power or a source of power that wants to either give you the script of what to say, like, I want you to come across like this, I want you to say this, I want you to wear this, I want you to do this, or controlling the performance, or you know what I'm saying? It could be something like that. Or, some people on lower vibrations. If any of this is super negative, these are messages and red flags that to get you out of that and get into your alignment. So, maybe for some people it's more, for some people this is like, an 8-year-old going on their first audition and having to perform, but like it's their first time, and the parent is helping them with the things, all the lines and all the stuff. But maybe for somebody else, this is like the boyfriend that's like screaming at the girl for wearing a super short skirt somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like how you are using the energy. How is it? And you're getting feedback from the environment, from everything around you, to tell you how you're using the energy. 19, oh, what's that? Oh, good. Okay. 2:41, then the moon enters Virgo. Now we're at the dark moon. It's time to rest. It's time to, I mean, we'll be thinking like a Virgo energy needs to like think about stuff. So maybe vegging out to TV is probably going to be a little therapeutic, probably going to help. And then it'll calm me down a little bit enough to let some idea pop in or something. But very nice. But like I said, we're in the dark moon, putting to bed this entire lunar cycle since September the 2nd. So really just like rest your tired little mind. 1948, the moon in Virgo sextiles Venus in Scorpio. I feel like we're pleased. That's nice. It sits well with our souls, you know. At 2032, that's like 8:30, Mars in Cancer trines Saturn in Pisces. I can't decide what I like more. Mars trining Saturn or the 𝚃𝚎𝚎. Honestly love them both so much. This was my first one that I loved a lot though. Mars trining Saturn. That's what I was thinking in this whole week leading up to that. Then I changed it to the Mercury story. So we'll see. For some people, maybe one will be more prominent than the other. So the Mars trining Saturn, we finally are getting it done. Oh my God, it feels so good. Like that's all I want to do is like do the thing. I just want to do it. I just want to do the thing. I just want to get it done. I want to do what I'm here to do. So I'm very, very excited to have my nodal return in Pisces in my 9th house, because I'm just going to be able to do what I'm here to do, like more of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to whatever is clearing away that is not that. I'm embracing it, embracing it wholeheartedly. Okay. And that's really what you want. That's a good attitude to take for the Pisces area of your life, even if you don't have your North Node there. You will for the for the next like almost 3 years. So it'll be like you are a North Node and Pisces person. Oh my God. People are really going to be getting super spiritual. Watch. People are going to get so humbled. I bet people are already super humbled with this partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. People are going to be freaking out more and more and trying to cling to these old structures that used to make them feel good with the Pluto and Capricorn. And then that's going to bottom out. You know, anyone trying to bribe people, anyone trying to do the good old boy club or be a mean diva or whatever, all that old forms of power and like that would comfort people, like all that shit's bottoming out. And so everyone's gonna be getting super spiritual. Everyone's gonna be like all of a sudden trying to figure things out. So the North Node and Pisces people are gonna maybe extra helpful over the next couple of years. Be careful though, because it depends. It depends. This is the spiritual splitting because guess who else has their North Node in Pisces? Tucker Carlson. I almost said Carl Tucker. That guy. And he and I couldn't be more different of our messaging, clearly. So that Pisces energy and this Neptune at the end of Pisces is how you are using it. Are you making your fears real? Are you making your dreams come true? You have to wholeheartedly believe in one or the other, and that is what you will manifest, and that is what you are manifesting and continuing to manifest. So you have to make the decision of what your core belief is and then act accordingly. 22. And then this Mars trining Saturn just helps us do it. It gives us power and protection. You know, there's like backup, there's help, there's you know, strength to help put up boundaries and protect the precious faith and belief and or artistic thing or the romantic relationship or the you know there's like protection there. Like, so that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to freaking reinforcements. So, you know, that's going to be cool. 2206, that's when we have the Mercury 𝚃𝚎𝚗 at 7 degrees of Libra. Think back to August the 18th. That was the interior conjunction of the Mercury 𝚃𝚎𝚗. That was like the new moon, the dark new moon. And this 2206, 1006, Sunday the 29th is like the full moon for Mercury. So this is when new ideas, new people, new strategies, new collaborations, new connections. It's a critical change happening in these themes where we have been forging forward even more so since the 26th of September, forging forward with new plans, maybe with new different people, new different partnerships, new different relationships. These are emerging creative ideas that are being brought into the public domain. So from the 18th of August, there's been this, oh, it's not going to go like this. It's not going to move forward in the way I thought, or it's not going to move forward at all. This is going to move forward. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, or it's going to move forward, but it's going to look very different, better than what my first idea was. And it's been working itself out, going through all these, you know, moments. And this moment, this 𝚃𝚎𝚗, the exterior conjunction, is when it gets brought, the relationship, the professional alliance, the new romantic partnership, the creative, artistic, maybe you're a musician collaborating with another artist, emerges into the public domain. And because it's Libra, that is partnership. That is like, and the interior 𝚃𝚎𝚗 was in Leo. That is the crown. That is the royalty. That is the heart in August. And, you know, it's like leading with the fucking heart. So hopefully we are seeing new, like, I guess we can say like power couples. I'm already tired of that moniker, but alliances that they're aligned because of the heart. They're, you know, it's the musical collaboration that when they get together, they are channeling symphonies of the gods. because they share that vibration. And that's why I'm very excited with this Neptune at the end of Pisces, because we're getting like the art and the creative. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if something incubates artistically right now that becomes, like Coco Moco said, like a cult classic, or becomes a new way. This would be like in the Matrix, the bullet, the slow motion of the bullets going, and then everyone uses that technique. That's what this could be. But this is a spiritual splitting where some people are like, I don't get it. And then they will, like in 8 months, or someone's like, I'm afraid of it, or I don't believe in it, or, like they don't, this is where the spiritual splitting could be happening from the 17th. But this is this is when it becomes public domain, like the new idea, the new partnership, the new relationship, the new thing. It's kind of put out there, made very visible. So I would look, there's probably going to be all kinds of interesting, new, different, exciting, maybe even unlikely partnerships, and that kind of stuff like that. That sounds juicy. And that is where I'm going to leave you guys. Let's go ahead and take it through the consciousness carousel that is the zodiac. Ooh la, Aries, sun, moon, risings. Congratulations. You guys are closing out old business when it comes to mental health and taking good care of yourself psychologically. Well done, you, man. Well done, you. Your spiritual splitting, you have to choose. It's like, I believe, I don't believe. What that core belief, whatever is going to help you like manage your faith and your psychological health. And if you saw anything that was like self-sabotagey, who? You know what I'm saying? Like very, very much this week on like the 24th, the quarter moon in Cancer, if you do have anything lingering, you have to settle out family issues. What's going on under your roof? What's going on in your house? What's going on with you emotionally? Just, is there some trauma in your DNA that's epigenetic from like 14 generations back that you don't even know about, that you're trying to get to the root of, or even just practicing acceptance when it comes to family stuff or wounds or defensiveness, anything like that. The week leading into this one, you already have been getting things organized with your money, with your daily life and routine, with your marriage, with your career, and kind of, I don't know how you use the energy, but you had a lot of energy, like once in a lifetime type energy to get all that stuff working really well. Thursday the 26th, when Mercury moves into Libra, is going to really kind of put to rest and put to end that heavy focus on health, fitness, daily work and routine, resolving issues with managers, immediate supervisors, coworkers, and the mental health stuff. And you specifically will have some kind of relational like exposure, or your primary partnerships are going to be very, very highlighted. Your clients, your best friend, your marriage partner, your spouse, even your enemies, the open enemies. These are the people that are like openly against you. There could be something going on with them or that person. So you guys have a lot to kind of look forward to leading up to your Kazemi. And the energy that's building momentum that peaks on Sunday, the 29th, is that Mars trining Saturn from that fourth house to the 12th house. So you really do want to use that quarter moon on Tuesday, the 24th, to see what that emotional issue is, or the house issue, household issue, roommate issue, and work it out. Work it out with that family member, with that whatever the issue is. That's what's going to go a very long way to helping you psychologically, or just feel better about things. And yeah, that peaks on Sunday. And then you're gonna, moon's in Virgo on Sunday. Monday, it's a dark moon. Really reflect on this entire month of September with any grudges, any work issues, coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, staff, health issues, psychological issues, and see what worked, what didn't work, and pay attention, maybe even journal, write down any eyesores. Okay? Because you're about to shift your focus completely to relationships. And we're going to talk about that in your solar eclipse video. hop on the Patreon as a free member, or 1111 gets you absolutely everything if you want everything extra readings, downloads, guides, remote viewing, telekinesis, astral projection, lucid dreaming. We have a grand old time over there. Love you guys. Take very good care. Thank you so much for taking up the Aries mantle of consciousness, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah. Hello, Tauruses, Sun, Moon, Risings. Welcome, Willkommen. You guys are coming off of a partial lunar eclipse in your 11th house and moving into Tuesday, the 24th, quarter moon in Cancer in your 3rd house of how you think, the quality of your mind. Is it a beautiful place to be in the mind of the Taurus, or is it emotional and temper tantrumy and miserable and uncomfortable? You have Tuesday to practice acceptance and say what you need to say, speak from the heart, and really let things go, especially when it comes to like emotionally stuck thinking, or not processing your feelings, or not processing hard feelings, or being in denial about your thinking. You guys are going to like emotionalize your intellect a little bit here. So use that quarter moon to really, really make your progress there. And psychologically, when you have Mercury entering Libra on Thursday, you should be ready to like feeling better about any of the issues that came up with your kids or with your sex life or with your dating life. And if there was any friendship drama for Tauruses this month, and if anyone walked away, or if you walked away from anyone or let go of a dream or a vision of the future with this Pisces eclipse. You, since, August the 18th, have been from the Leo area, really trying to sort out what you really, let's like what you think based on where your heart sits. And that these are things like no one can get, well, realistically for people out there, no one is going to be able to like get in your mind and in your heart and get all, help you do all this work. Like you got to do the work. You got to direct your thoughts, and you have to talk to your heart, and you have to practice self-trust for yourself. So I feel like you're going to feel a lot better when Mercury moves into Libra, because for you guys, you're moving towards this big reveal or public domain when it comes to your staff, when it comes to your daily living situation, the people that you're visually seeing and interacting with and talking to every day. You're going to know where everybody stands by like, next Monday. Throughout the week, though, with this Mars trining Saturn in application, you will have the fighting words. You will have the ability to stand up for yourself, and especially when Mars spends a very long extended stay here, I see Tauruses not allowing themselves to be bullied with, this is like when people say like, do this or you're going to hell, or like, like weaponizing faith for Tauruses with Pluto and Capricorn in the 9th house. You could have been like especially afraid of like God hating you or something. Like, I don't know, like maybe you went through like your bullying could have been like that. It could have been more like people scaring you with like the afterlife, or like, heaven and hell and like all this like, oh, or maybe you're being terrorized by a foreigner, or being terrorized by uh like a teacher, and controlled and very like, you know what I'm saying? They should have been empowering. Or if you're traveling from in a foreign country, or going to school and all that stuff, the expansion of knowledge should be empowering. So if knowledge and information has been weaponized against you to control you or to bully you, then this is a great time to be starting to become aware of it, because that's going to be the battle you guys are going to be fighting over the next like 8 months, is idealistic and faith based and thinking based. So you really should hammer down where you stand and be prepared to defend it. And you have this beautiful Mars trine Saturn where you could like put the emotion in motion and strategize and build out your plans for the future. For some of you, that's relocating. For some of you, it's your neighborhood. For some of you, it's actually social media too. For some of you, if you do that or if you want to do that, it'd be a great time for that too. And you're about to enter, like I said, this whole Libra focus is going to be way more about like your health, your mental health, and the people that help make your life a little bit easier. That, you know, like it's about partnership, it's about working with people. So definitely don't look down on anyone that is of service to you or your staff or your physicians, anything like that. This could be a good time to partner with a physician or partner with someone that can be of service to you, where you avail them of their services to provide such assistance and support. Love it for Tauruses. Take good care. Have a great week ahead and see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for taking up the Taurus mantle of consciousness. If you like the fun stuff, it's all on Patreon for $11 a month. There's so many more things that you spend money on that don't give you a droplet of the satisfaction that is over there and the value that is over there on the Patreon. So don't sleep on this just because I make it affordable for like virtually anyone that truly has the will and the desire to learn. Okay, until next time, my lovely Tauruses, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Geminis, my darlings, my darlings. Welcome, willkommen. You guys are coming off of this partial lunar eclipse in your 10th house of career, social status, your marriage, your spouses, you as a parent. And you're coming into this week going into the quarter moon on Tuesday in Cancer. So this is closing out any residual little business when it comes to financial compensation, when it comes to, you know, I feel like, yeah, that's for some of you, but I want to really stress that if you have, if your eclipse made you shaky, if your eclipse, like maybe you had a career highlight, but you were insecure still, or maybe the career was doing great, but feeling insecure in the marriage, or the marriage is doing great, but you got laid off, or you know what I'm saying? If it was a little bit of both, you know, that like, um, the winning and the redemption, the loss and the redemption, like as I said in previous videos, don't fear spiral. It's okay. You know, I want you to juice up your faith in where you're going and in your reputation and who you are in the world. And I'm speaking directly to the good Geminis, not to the Geminis who are just trying to get away with things, you know? Um, so this is a great opportunity for you this whole week to actually reinforce your confidence in your own skills, talents, and abilities, because that's your second house as well, as your self-confidence based on what you can do and what you can offer and what people value from you. And in that 10th house of career, what people want to see you do, what people want to see you for. I want to say, if you are figuring out your career, if you're figuring out what you want to do, where you want to go, it might be changing over the next 3 years, and just let that happen. So if your spiritual splitting was more like, I have no fucking clue anymore. Like, it's okay. It's totally okay. Like a lot of people I'm sure are probably feeling that. They're not used to the Pisces like focus that we're going to have, and you know, more and more over the next couple of years. So that's okay. It's okay. You're going to get used to leading with the intuition and trusting in the intuition. You're going to get better at it. And so use this week to double down on your self-confidence. Have like a self-confidence kit packet, like a snackle box, where you just like, you know, break in case of emergency, and it's like all of your favorite things. It's your, I mean, for me, that's like snacks in a movie, but like whatever it is for you, if it's a box of Legos, if it's a box of Legos and Haagen-Dazs, if it's, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, go for that. Nurture yourself all up. It's even more important for that because the shift is going to be happening even as soon as Thursday, the 26th, when we have Mercury, your ruler, moving into Libra. So it's like wrapping up this entire month that's been so focused on like home and family, but also your emotional seat of security. That's what you need to support the career. And you don't want to be overcritical on yourself with the Virgo energy. You could be a little bit like, you could be like that to yourself. So even if you don't have like roommates or family that are overly critical, you might just talk to yourself that way. So wrap up any of those issues, put to bed on Wednesday with the Mercury opposing Neptune, put to bed, be very firm with yourself about, I'm not going to go there mentally. I'm not going to go, and really let yourself identify, if something makes you feel bad, identify the thought, the feeling, the thing, and then have a boundary on it. Have a boundary on it. Because then when Mercury moves into Libra, your focus is going to be your kids, your crush, your romantic life, your creative process, your small business, those relationships, probably creative, collaborative partnerships and new beginnings, but maybe based on some endings for the Gemini. All this week, and then culminating on Sunday, the 29th, you have this beautiful Mars trining to Saturn. So that's going to help you feel better about yourself. That's going to help you make money. It's going to help you support the career or the marriage or the father or the boss or add to the income. So whether it's just income or whether it's self-esteem and income, you have all the energy there working there for you. Okay, Gemmies? Love you guys. Take very good care. Have a great week ahead. If you want more, it's on the Patreon. It's $11.11 a month. And we would love to have you. So if not, until the next video, my loves, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah. Hello, Cans. Welcome, Willkommen. You guys are coming off of the we guys are coming off of the partial lunar eclipse in our 9th house in Pisces. And I have my North Node in Pisces in my 9th house. So it's hard for me to gauge how other Cancers might have handled this. I feel like you must have either had some kind of like, you must be in or going through some kind of spiritual awakening. Maybe you're having some psychic experiences for the first time. Maybe some of you are just like popping out of your body, having some spontaneous astral projection experiences. Some of you could be disenchanted, disillusioned with a foreigner, a guru, guide, a mentor, or maybe someone that you just looked up to that way, where you just thought they were like such a great person to get advice from or learn from. And then maybe they like faltered in some way or let you down in some way, maybe saying goodbye to somebody, or there could have been a desire for you with that Virgo energy in your 3rd house to further concretize, stabilize either that relationship. If it's a person, stabilize that relationship and provide support for that. Or for some of you, even relocating out of state, out of country, or for some of you to reinforce your thinking, your belief systems. So you could have had like a crisis, like an absolute, you could be in some kind of spiritual crisis. Like, what do I believe? What's my integrity? What is up and down? What is left and right? You could be in a little bit more of an emotional avalanche and like not knowing what way to start like digging. That's like the super low side though. I mean, on the higher side, um this really cemented my this was really like but like I said, I have my North Node in Pisces, and you guys know me already. Golden oldies, you already know, you know the whole, you've seen me from like the very beginning. So most of you have seen me from like the very beginning. A lot of you actually have seen me from the very beginning, but you've seen me start with like tarot, channeling, remote viewing, getting more and more psychic, telekinesis, more, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, um, yeah, actually for me, this is really, really, as it's getting closer with my telekinesis teacher. And so, it's a little bit, you're somewhere on that spectrum, having a spiritual psychosis or spiritual meltdown to concretizing and stabilizing spiritual practices. Let me put it that way. That's a better way to put it. So you're coming off of that, and into this week, you've got the quarter moon in Cancer in our sign, whether you're Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. And this is an adjustment to our identity and who we are personally, and practicing acceptance. So if you were already more inclined to like true spirituality. And I don't think I really got a certain, do I have the book here? I do. I didn't really like get a certain part of belief until I highly recommend this. Highly recommend this book until I got this. It's, look at all of my little, haven't done part 2 yet. I'm saving it. Mary Magdalene, that's backwards. I don't like that. Mary Magdalene revealed, still backwards. But in this, I really got it that like when you believe something, like you walk forward like with such faith, and like nothing else, nothing else is real. It's like just your faith is real. And you can it's so much easier to forgive everything else. It's so much easier to forgive people that doubt you, disparage you, attack you, and have bad reactions to what you believe. It's so much easier to forgive all of that on all of those other people, um, because your faith is so strong, and you just go your own way and you're on your path. And it's very, it feels so much more magical, and you see it, you see so much working out for you, like miracles and stuff, because of that spiritual alignment. So like I said, this is either like you either have so much faith in your life and in your beliefs, or you're really thrown. This can also be litigious for some of you. Um, so where are you on that spectrum? Because at quarter moon Tuesday, it's like the adjustment, the internal adjustment, and it's very much more faith based for Cancer, sun, moon, risings, and practicing the acceptance. And I would even say even acceptance about yourself, maybe something about yourself. Have you been in integrity? Have you not been in integrity? Have you maintained your spiritual practices? Have you let them go by the wayside? And then the Mercury cycle you're wrapping up, self-confidence in your skills, talents, and abilities, being compensated, making money, what you're spending your money on, how you're spending your money, from August the 18th. And the full moon of that coming up at the end of, yeah, at the end of this week, like the 29th, 29th, 30th. So as soon as Thursday hits with the 26th, when Mercury moves into the 4th house, you're like you're ready to move on. We're ready to move on from any questioning of the faith or the beliefs or contracts, negotiations, litigation, going back and forths with certain, I don't know, foreigners or teachers or whatever like that. Then it's going to be like, okay, you're working from home, you are negotiating sales and purchases and roommates, people moving in, people moving out, buying and selling real estate. You know, it's just going to be a whole different, like a whole different vibe, whole different vibe. And also thinking, the mentality. And so that's from Thursday onward. And this whole week you're building up to the beautiful Mars trine Saturn in our first house to the 9th. It's a peach of an energy. And we are the ones that we're not getting bullied by Pluto and Capricorn anymore. Okay. Like I've talked to you guys about this before. And if you're new, over the past 15 years with Pluto in our opposite sign of Capricorn, I'm a Cancer ascendant, has it's like my almost like my whole freaking life, like my whole definitely my whole adult life into my young little life has brought me enmeshed and entangled with actual serial murderers, actual psychopaths, actual psychotic people, actual villains, like real enemies. I mean, strong enemies, powerful enemies, billionaires, like powerful people for one way or the other. And so, I mean, for some Cancer risings, they were just in a 15-year long abusive relationship, and they're playing it out in some abusive relationship. How has it been for you? What's been the thing? Have you been fighting with society? Have you been fighting with your a best friend? Have you been fighting with your spouse, with your clients? What's been like the power struggle, with the other person? Bullying. We're such like we're so gooey. We're so squishy, plump. We're very plump. So like sometimes I could look so like full because I have like the moon face, but like my body is so slender and skeletal. I have my moon in Aquarius, but like my face could look very like full, you know? So it's like you're squishy, you're full, you are emotional, you know what I'm saying? So it's like this next 8 months now, well, like in a little bit until spring, it's time to do this. It's time to do that. We're going to be moving side to side. And anybody that, you know, tries to bully us, that's why we got the big claws. So we're going to have to use them because there's going to be wrestling for like some kind of narrative direction, some kind of focus, some kind of, you know, agenda, a drive, a goal. You know what I'm saying? So this is a good week for you to just know who you are and be confident in who you are and have the spiritual fortitude to carry yourself, or you will get what is it, pulled under the waves of somebody else's reality that they're going to spoon feed you and make you take it like medicine. You're either going to let it happen or you're going to stand up for yourself. It's going to be one or the other. Like you're done. You're done. The Pluto's leaving. Like you're done. So you either have like a strong character and a strong handle on how you handle your relationships, how you approach other people, how you approach them and respect their power and let them own their power and you own your power, and choosing your partners wisely so you don't choose people that are going to give you a hard time. So you're not choosing people you're going to be in this big back and forth with. Have you been lucid and with it enough to get out of those controlling relationships? Have you, you know what I mean, snapped out of it? Or are you signing up for another merry-go-round? It's a choice. It's a personal choice. So that's going to be a thing. The whole psychology Mercury thing is going to be, you know, moving on by like Thursday. The Mars trining the Saturn Sunday is going to give you hopefully a little bit of conviction, a little bit of fortitude. Hopefully you're not fighting with a lawyer, fighting with like a freaking, don't argue politics and like belief systems. Don't let people believe whatever they want to believe. You just need to validate yourself like I do. I validate myself. I don't wait for anyone else to validate me. I validate myself. But watch when other people start to validate me, and then other people are going to validate me, but they've been seeing me validate myself the entire time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, All right, Cans. Love you. Take very good care. Thank you for taking up the Cancer mantle of consciousness. Have a great week. If you want more, there's a lot more on the Patreon. $11.11 for the entire month. Binge everything. You can get your big old little claws on. We'd love to have you. Until the next video, my loves, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah. Hello, my gorgeous Leos. Welcome, Volcommon. You guys had the Pisces eclipse in your 8th house. Oof, that's a smoldering house. So probably everything got under your skin in a great way or in an irritating way. And that's where your spiritual splitting is kind of occurring, is what you are going to give power to and where you're going to take your power back. So if you had drama flaring up with other people or with your partners or with your clients or any one-to-one relationships, you know, business partners or anything like that, then you have the option, you have the decisions to make to try and see this clearly and decide if you're going to take your ball and go play somewhere else or if something is worth working it out. And this is also a psychic house too, for those of you that partake. And so this could be the beginning of opening up psychic ability for some Leos over the next 3 years. For others, this is just simply healing, opening up an opportunity to heal over the next 3 years, couple of years, but making it so equal. It's got to be like an equal give and take with you and other people. You cannot have business partners where you're doing all the work and they're not doing any of the work. You cannot have a romantic relationship that is not sexually gratifying. You cannot have best friends that don't really have your back. Like you're going to feel an alienation from them. So maybe they're still your friend, but they're not going to be like your best friend. Like you got to draw these lines. This can also be if some of you tried to go borrow money and it wasn't there. You applied for some kind of, loan or mortgage or something, and it's not, things are falling through. The focus is on your skills, talents, and abilities, the money that you have right now. So it really, Saturn since March 2023 is making it like very serious and hard on you when it comes to what you share with other people, and making it very, if you owe anybody anything, that's coming up, and it's going to be something coming up over the next 3 years. If they owe you something, if other people owe you something, you know what I'm saying? So it's also getting rid of baggage. So this week, you're still continuing to release and let go of baggage that's holding you back from good partnerships, good clients, good relationship with your audience, with your public, if you partake, and firming up, solidifying bonds with other people. So it's like bonds where you connect with authentically and full of integrity and belief and faith, maybe romance for some of you, maybe healing for some of you, and then boundaries where you're not going to be there for somebody else because it's not, you don't want to, or it's not right, or it's guilty, or it's like, if the vibes are off, the vibes are off. So, that's going to be that. And this week and Tuesday, you have the quarter moon in Cancer in your 12th house of secret sorrow, self undoing, but also secret benefactors and miracles happening behind the scenes, psychic as well. So, this could be a moment of acceptance for some Leo, Sun, Moon risings, either about something that's self sabotaging them, that you guys are able to see it and act accordingly and get rid of it or something, or heal through it. Or this could be some kind of psychic experience. It could be a spirit visitation. It could be a very powerful dream experience that you have, but it's like a house of surrender. And this is very psychic coming up for you. And if it's not psychic, that's like the far end of the spectrum, it's going to be very emotional. So the emotions, strong emotions, are an invitation to expand your consciousness, an invitation to expand your psychic ability. But not everyone wants to accept that kind of an invitation. No, not, not everyone wants to not everyone wants to grow and evolve spiritually. So at the very least, at least it'll be emotionally rich for you guys, feeling some big emotions coming up. Now, on Thursday, when Mercury moves into Libra, you will, I feel like for all of us, be really putting to bed this whole Mercury retrograde since like mid July. And for you, it's going to be wrapping up issues with self esteem or financial stuff and, skills, talents, and abilities, the money you have right now, what you're spending your money on, what you feel confident enough to go for, or feeling like you have the financial resources to do or afford. And then Mercury goes into Libra in that third house, and then it's going to be like your mind is more on your immediate environment or on communications, or you know changing the thought process is going to be more, maybe even more relationship based for you, because you may be coming out with some public announcement or public declaration coming up. So you guys have this whole week building with the Mars trining to Saturn. I love this so much. And for you, these are the psychic houses. So this could be so wonderful for psychic protection. This could be wonderful for psychic development, or even some kind of secret benefactor that is acting and behaving and helping you from behind the scenes or supporting you. Like I said, like the psychic protection could be from behind the scenes. You're not making that public, but like they're an asset, they're a resource, or something that you could avail, that is psychic in nature, or it's even financial support from behind the scenes. Or there's something kind of interesting happening for Leos that's building this week. You may even be doing something secretive behind the scenes, planning some kind of something that you're not ready to share yet. You will share it, but not yet. You're still doing it. You're still doing all of the inner workings and all of the things behind the scenes. So you're going to be putting, like I said, a very big focus on some kind of announcement, maybe something even going on with your neighborhood. I really feel like there's something local for Leos happening. So there could be kind of a very big development for some Leos happening locally. And it's going to bring you into the eclipse and it's going to be a whole big thing. So either the mind is about to be very much lit up as you move into the beginning of October, or it could be something with your actual neighborhood or your neighbors or siblings. Love this also for writing and communications related stuff and projects. Have a wonderful week, Leo. If you want more, even more, there's more on the Patreon for $11.11 a month. The link is down in the description box below. Thank you so much for taking up the Leo mantle of consciousness. Have a wonderful week. And until our next video, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful 𝚑𝚘𝚎𝚢. Keep going, Virgo. Even if your eclipse brought to light that someone pledged their support and then took it back, or left you holding a bag, or even if you have a great relationship with someone, something about the other person, the other people, your clients, your audience, your partnerships, your business partnerships, your marriage, they need you. They do need you. So if you are not going to be moving forward with someone else is going to show up. But you have to persevere and keep going on something that you're trying to put together with this grand earth trine according to your higher ethics, morals, and beliefs. And so with the partnerships, you just want to, if it's a partnership that you really care about working on, then they're going to need your help and they're going to need your support to get through something. Your partner could have even they could have even not like just left you, but like left you holding the bag, but they could have just gotten ill or sick, or like something happened to them. Maybe they're having like a breakdown or something. Like there could have just been something happening in their life, or they're just going through something. And it could be something that, over the next couple of years, you're going to have to help. I'm going to say it's not like you're going to be taking care of an invalid, but it's like there's something that since March 2023 with Saturn coming in here has just been making relationships a little bit harder for you. And so you've got to step up to the plate and just be ready to accept that not everyone is going to make it with you. Watch the 𝚃𝚑𝚎𝚢 video, because you could have your Venice Film Festival September with the booing being partners just not getting you, not getting it, dipping. But if you persevere, and I know that you will, you're going to persevere, come next spring, 2025, then you're going to be the life of the party. Everyone's going to want it. You know what I'm saying? It's so, whether the people are kind of changing out or changing around, don't let that deter you. Stay the course. You have beautiful Taurus energy in your area of like your consciousness is expanding, and you're going to keep getting more of that. You're going to get more like confirmation bias to think originally, go your own way, and believe something that's probably a little bit more evolved than like everybody else. With Uranus being in the ninth house, you could have spontaneous astral projection experiences. You could have come to Jesus moment. You could have this could also be publishing, marketing, higher, getting the word out, you being the speaker, you being the spokesperson. This for Virgos could be a fame transit from now for the next like 3 years. If you are online, if you do something where the audience or the public is involved, chef's kiss for you. So I really wouldn't be concerned about like a lack of people. If there's one thing you guys are going to have, it's going to be people. So, don't take on any like fear or anxiety or worry. Okay? You hold firm and stay your course. And that's what this Virgo season has been giving to you, even really since like late August, is that selfness, that selfhood. So other partners are there, and they are spiritual, romantic, creative, inspirational, so those are the good ones. And you look for the track record, look for a history, look for the people that have proven themselves to you with consistency. Consistent good behavior is what you want to really kind of look for. And those are going to be the ones that have earned your support, have earned your being. I don't know if you can hear this, it's the ice cream truck. So they are the ones that have earned your precision and your dedication and your, you know what I'm saying? So this week you have Tuesday, the quarter moon in Cancer, closing out an issue with a friend. And I'm so sorry, Virgo. It could be that there is a friend that maybe pulled their support. Maybe it is a friend that doesn't agree with where you're going or what you're trying to do, or that the quarter moon in Cancer on the 24th of September on Tuesday. I'm so sorry. Virgo could have been could be closing out issues with a friend that doesn't agree with where you're going, doesn't approve of what you're trying to do, doesn't see your vision, doesn't have the same values as you do, and, could have dropped the ball on something or just withdrew some kind of support or something like that. That quarter moon is you practicing acceptance that we're too far apart. We just don't vibe. It's not the vibe, and it's okay to part ways and try to do it as amicably as possible. If that's happening, I feel like it's already happened though. I feel like it was already part of your eclipse. So it's probably more just acceptance of maybe even something with an older sibling, but practicing some kind of acceptance, or even acceptance about the way something is going to move forward. So maybe it's not going to move forward ideally, but maybe it's going to move forward in a different way that you're going to have to um, stabilize, but using your intuition to stabilize it. If it's like a dream or a goal, because you could be making a goal real, but with another person. You need the other person. And so if people are not there, they're not the person. And you have people coming in. You have a lot of people coming in. Like, so it's either that letting the people fall off, or supporting the people that are like the true blues, that are showing the consistency over the long period of time and together persevering for some kind of goal. That's kind of what you want. So, it's that's Tuesday is a quarter moon in Cancer in that 11th house. Friends, groups, associations, and social media too. So it could be a day for some support through those means as well, and connecting things. So that could be cool. I really feel, I mean, for me at least, the Mercury retrograde ends when like Mercury really leaves that sign, which is going to be Thursday, the 26th of September. Mercury is going to move into Libra and really help you guys finish out and close out the old business with these relationship up and downs and this back and forth with where you stand or what you think or what you're trying to put across or what you're trying to convey to somebody else, that the other person, they either skip town, you can't get a hold of them, they don't they don't exist anymore, or they're vague and ambiguous, or maybe they have a mental illness, or maybe they're in recovery, or ideally it's creative, ideally they're spiritual, ideally they are compassionate and forward thinking and forward. But if they're like in fear and anxiety, and they're just gonna get you riled up in fear and anxiety. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So you're wrapping up, closing out the old business with all of that. You had the grand earth trine from like Thursday the 19th of September, today that I'm filming this, until Saturday the 21st of September, which is helping you so much. And with the opposition to that, like, there's something that you're able to like break through, move forward on. So utilize all that we talked about in the last, like a previous video. So when Mercury, your ruler, moves into Libra, then it's going to be, the mind is going to be on skills, talents, and abilities, the negotiating something, the purchase, the sell of something. And it's going to be a very different mental place that you are thinking from. So what you're building towards this entire week is with this Mars trining Saturn. I love this so much. And for you, this is working with a partner. So there's someone there. There is someone solid and consistent. And like, if they're spiritual, they're not delulu spiritual. They're like legit spiritual. If they're creative, they're not just talking about ideas. They do it. They have something physical that they created. They're real. If it's, this could be healing breakthroughs in, couples therapy. This could be, you know what I'm saying? But that Mars in the 11th house, it depends on what you're doing. Some of you are posting on social media, and there could be like a friend or a friend. So it's like maybe something that you're doing with social media, a message that you're delivering to your audience or that you're working with. Maybe you have like, maybe you're doing like a charity thing and you adopt a family and you're taking on some kind of like humanitarian goal. I should do a link tree. Then I can put the links for the goat sanctuaries. I should get on that so people can find it very easily. But maybe you're doing something like that. Maybe you and another person are crusading for something. You and another person are grounding and stabilizing some kind of shared dream or a shared goal. And that's really what you want. With this Mars in your 11th house, you want to align with other people that have the same goal. But you both get something out of it, and together making progress. That's, you've got this entire week, and it builds up. It peaks on Sunday, but it's going to be building this whole week. So I just love that for your support, friends, groups, associations, social media, and helping to stabilize relationships, concretize relationships, firm them up on solid ground. Then you're going to be moving into your public domain moment is going to be in your house of finances. So I could see Virgos trotting out a partnership as an asset. Like I could see Virgos like having skills, talents, and abilities specifically when it comes to relationships, that is the asset. So for you Virgos at this time, and as you go into October, your assets are your partnerships, they're your relationships, and who is standing next to you, and do they complement you? Do they add to your like financial value? You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't be afraid of the Venice Film Festival thing. Like, you could have, for you, your fight club is like a person that maybe your older sibling doesn't understand, or that someone doesn't get quite yet. You're very forward thinking now. So you're like one of the innovators, that you are trying to like manifest something with Uranus in the 9th house. It could, like I said, be very potent and powerful with Pluto in your 5th right now. But if there was any kind of murkiness, or if there's murkiness going on, don't let that deter you, because you're going to have the iconic cult classic, not just by spring of 2025, but like the rest of your freaking life. Like what you are doing, Virgo specifically, sun, moon, risings, could really stand the test of time. Do not let anything deter you from something that you know. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Even if it's certain details, little details might switch up, change up. That was your Mercury retrograde from, dear God, the middle of July until September the 26th. But for some of you, maybe it did work the way it's written in like astrology books, where it was over as early as the beginning of early September. So you guys keep on keeping on, and hold it down, because you guys are going to be entering a very lucrative cycle, even as early as like the end of this week that this horoscope plays out. So you're going to be, Virgos are about to feel so good about themselves. Like, you guys, this is like, you're going to feel so good about yourself. And the the August 18th interior Cazimi was in your 12th house of secret sorrow, self undoing, but also of secret benefactors and miracles, and release and surrender and letting go. So letting go of the fear, letting go of anything holding you back, just letting it go. You're going to feel so good about yourself coming up. Okay. Love you guys. Have a great week ahead. Let me know if you want more. There's more on the Patreon. There's a lot more on the Patreon for $11.11 a month. And what else? Telekinesis, lucid dreaming, astral projection, and remote viewing. If you want to, don't let me have all the fun. So thank you so much, my Virgies, for taking up the Virgo mantle of consciousness. Have a lovely week. And until the next video, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. This is it, Libra. This is it. This is hello, Libra, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, common. This is it. This is your last week of, when Mercury enters into Libra and your sign on the 26th, you'll be done from this very long, like mental scramble energy from like mid-July. Good grief. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So you enter the week. So you're on the Pisces eclipse in your 6th house. You could definitely be coming down with something. Be very careful of low-grade infections. Make sure that you're drinking lots of water. Rest more, even when you don't think you're tired. You could be surprised how rested you feel and how much it is helping you to rest. Definitely, of course, do all the things like hydrate. I spritz rose water throughout the day just to water myself a little bit. So, do all of like those kinds of things. Saturn here has been making it kind of hard on you and making you, really working hard and overcoming stuff since March 2023. And you could really get an insight into the state of your mental health and to the state of your physical health, with this eclipse. And you want to take really, really, really good care of yourself. You come into Tuesday, the 24th of September, with the quarter moon in Cancer. And this is a waning, losing in light quarter moon. This is about practicing acceptance in the career space. So, maybe there was something or someone, a staff, a coworker that maybe they didn't outright deceive you. Maybe they didn't just leave you. Maybe they just didn't have, maybe they were sick. They were out sick. They didn't have the power that you thought, or maybe it affects the work or the career or the reputation in some way, shape, or form. It's just, trust me, Pisces, I have my North Node in Pisces. Okay. It's just, you Forrest Gump your way through life when you have your North Node in Pisces. And so don't be afraid of Forrest Gumping your way to find the right health solution. Actually, if you're really eluded by the health stuff, Heather, astrology, Heather's no, Heather astro. Ooh, just in YouTube, just put in Heather and astrology. She will come up. She's got like hair, and she is like the expert in medical astrology. It's like her focus, it's her niche, it's like her thing. So she, there's no there's no kickback for this. Okay. I think she's got like a workshop coming up. Let's see, you guys are gonna get this like Friday, tomorrow. I think you can still hop on. I think it's going to be like the end of September. But look, if that would probably really, really help you. I don't do any kind of medical astrology. I am not that. No, I can't. I'm not going to even touch that. I could tell you this. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you really are already going to medical professionals and they're not helpful, try her because she'll probably figure it out. Okay. Or take her workshop and maybe you'll be able to figure it out with your own, analysis of your birth chart. So, the quarter moon in Cancer at the top of your chart is a surrender, release, letting it go. Like I said, if it was like staff, a coworker, someone quit, someone is out sick, and you're not, and you maybe you didn't get like the support, either physical health, mental health, or if you didn't get the support with people that are of service to you, even agents and managers and staff and coworker, if your team, if those people, if it's a perceived letdown, it's your Forrest Gump moment. It was somehow exactly what it was supposed to be at the right time. While I can see that it's maybe affecting the career or the status or the reputation or the um marriage, I forgot to say that one, or the marriage or your role as a parent, you just have to let it be. Maybe they were stern with the Saturn here. Maybe you got told some news that you didn't want to hear. Maybe they told you you have to work less and focus more on your health. And you know what I'm saying? And so just whatever that quarter moon is, just release. It's okay. Practice acceptance and let yourself move on from it. Because this is like, this last Mercury opposition to Neptune on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Mercury comes into your first house. So you're letting go of one last psychological issue, a mental issue, a mental orientation that you're like, disavowing. This is the time to renounce that kind of stuff. Anything that's not helping you, not making you healthier and stronger. Then Thursday, you're going to be focusing on you, like yourself, your character. And I know you have a thing for beauty. Let me tell you this: when your choices in life are beautiful, so too will you be. That's not me, that's Epictetus, I think. Okay. And how do you make good choices in life? It starts in the mental plane. You have to orient your thinking. You have to orient your thinking, feelings, and then your manifestations, three densities down, are going to be reflecting that beautiful inside reality back to you. Okay. That is what I would recommend working on. Or whatever state, wherever you're at, you start anywhere. On the spiritual, you start where you are and you just go from there. Okay. So I feel like you're just gonna be feeling better, just focusing on yourself and focusing on, a personal project that you're just focusing on. That's just your thing. Maybe you'll share it with other people later, but it's just like for you right now. This whole week you're building towards this Mars trining Saturn epic. Mars is in your career sector in the marriage house. You as a parent trining Saturn in the sixth house. So you are working through difficult issues with your health as a parent in the marriage. Really at work though, with your boss, with your coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, all those kinds of people. So, as long as you're mature and sober and serious and forthright, you're going to be fine. You guys are going to have the 𝚬𝚘 in your sign, the full moon of Mercury, basically. As we come into the week after this, like closer to like the 30th of September. And for you guys had the interior conjunction in Leo in the 11th house of friends, groups, associations, older siblings, but also dreams for the future and goals for yourself. But they're goals that you have with others that it's like you have to have the right vibe together. Like it's the same vibe, it's the same goal, you have the same orientation, wanting the same thing, same vision, same creative, it's Leo, same creative ideas or whatever, the vision. And so this full moon is really maybe you announcing, debuting like a relationship. I wouldn't be surprised if Libras have the relationship status update moment where Libras are like, this is my person and this is, or I'm single now, or this is, I'm doing this collaboration, or I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? This is, but it's going to be a renewal of probably for you guys partnership. I know it's in your sign, so it is going to be very, very personal for you. But there may also be someone there. If it's not someone there, then you have a very newly informed opinion and approach and a whole new thought process. It's very full in the public domain. So something about how you do relationships or your behavior in relationships or your orientation in relationships and how you are in them could be very public and front and center. So really you have, I would say, this whole week to make wonderful progress the sooner you accept whatever that thing is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, getting over the grudge, getting over the thing, that Pisces thing in the Pisces area. And that's going to be beautiful and you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So love it for you guys for the psychic development on one end of the spectrum with the Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn stuff, but on the other end of the spectrum, emotional changes for you guys, everything really moving, happening behind the scenes emotionally. And that moves the energy to change your manifestations and change your reality. So it's very big and potent for you guys. So if things are not physically manifesting the way you want, let it all go. It doesn't mean you're going to have 3 years of that or 3 years of health problems if you just happen to get sick with the Pisces moon. It's okay. Don't fear. You especially should not be fear spiraling. You should be getting more spiritual. And if you'd like, I would love to serve you in that capacity. If you want more, if you're curious, Patreon, 1111, all of the things, oodles of more for the Libras. Love you guys. Have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much for taking up the Libra mantle of consciousness. Until the next video, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah. Hello, my lovely Scorpio, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. A welcome, willkommen. Okay, you guys have the juicy eclipse that you had on the 17th in your fifth house. And so there could have been dreams coming true, wishes coming true. There could have been maybe crushes, maybe choosing one over another one of them disappears. There could have been stuff like that. You're closing that stuff out this week. Tuesday, the 24th, is the quarter moon in Cancer in your ninth house. Very, very fascinating. This is like maybe you like awakened to some big, deep feelings for someone, or from your pet. There's something your pet was going through, or your small business, your creative passion projects. And you're kind of like, you know how you feel, but maybe this month of September, you've been like talking to your friends about it and like, trying to figure out like, is this person legit? Is this person real? Is this person trustworthy? Is this attraction really attraction? Like, there could have been, or how am I going to stabilize my creative impulse, and talking to your friends about how you're going to do that, and organizing with them. And this quarter moon on Tuesday is closing out, practicing acceptance when it comes to a belief system, a way you've been orienting your thinking, your belief structure, maybe even closing things out with a mentor, guru, guide, teacher, or some kind of foreign experience, traveling experience. And it looks exciting. It looks pretty exciting because of Mercury like zipping around the zodiac, doing what they're doing this week too, wrapping things up in an area where you're trying to get very precise about your future. So this could even be like if you're doing like a creative project, you're like, okay, I'm very excited about this, but I don't know if it has substance. And then trying to verify and vouch for it through friends, groups, associations, maybe through like social media, trying to use social media to stabilize, concretize, that creative, project or something. But it's going to be this Mercury that's going to like help you seal the deals with that connection that Mercury makes with Pluto and or Capricorn and Taurus, which is very people oriented, very much like I'm so excited for Scorpio Sun Moon Risings at this time because your Venice Film Festival, this is like your guys' fight club for real, where you could totally be onto something that is going to be the next Matrix and make billions and billions of dollars. And like, if it, but your partners, the other people, are maybe a little weird. Okay, they may be a little different. You could end up meeting the love of your life. But they may not look like how you expect or what you normally are attracted to. Or you know what I'm saying? It could be very, very unique type of people so you should be getting out there and meeting different people and having different conversations, and the exposure that you've been getting since 2018. It's a big deal, very, very big deal for you guys. So kind of excited for you guys on this one. Let's see. Then you're putting to bed the Mercury retrograde from like mid-July until, for me, really the 26th of September, when Mercury moves into the next sign in Libra. This is kind of interesting for you because the the beginning of this cycle was August the 18th at the top of your chart. So you could have, since August 18th, known that your career was going to go somewhere different, but maybe not quite sure how it was going to flesh out. But you could have been, you have the spidey senses, born with them. You were 4 years old and you knew how to read a room. You know what I mean? Like you already knew, you were tapped in to what the grown-ups were feeling and think and do. You know what I'm saying? So, um, you could have had the spidey sense that like I feel the winds of change, or even being inspired differently. Like maybe you're like, I want to, spice up my image a little bit, and or maybe you're ready to go like the Great Gatsby. You're ready to blow out the career and get super big attention and be really sparkly in a very unique way, very individual way. And, but maybe not sure what that would look like or how it would all kind of like settle into play. Well, now you're going to know by the end of this week as you move forward, 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 forward. No other option to the 𝚘𝚎𝚘, September the 30th, but it really, really builds. It could even be as early as Thursday the 26th that things are starting to kind of show to you what that will really look like. But the caveat is going to be that this full moon for Mercury is going to be in your 12th house of secret sorrow, self undoing, but also of surrender and psychic or other kinds of benefactors from behind the scenes and miracles. So it's like you're having some kind of revelation. This could even be where you get an insight into how you have been self sabotaging something. Maybe love relationships, something with sexuality, something with your own. Maybe you stifled like your inner child, and you know what I'm saying? Maybe this is time for you to do inner child healing or some kind of help for your own creative process or your dating life or your sex life or something. So this 𝚘𝚎𝚘, it's going to be so big and loud for you, but behind the scenes, this could be someone really pulling through and acting on your behalf in a very beneficial way. If it is also, and or the other side of this could be when you realize that someone's been against you, or that like a hidden enemy becomes like visible, or it's your own self-sabotage. Like how, or it could even be how you see women or relationships. It doesn't have to be women, but how you see relationships, how you think of them in your mind, your approach to them, how that's affecting, that could be coming, up to the surface for you. But this could very simply on the mundane level be that Scorpios are ready to say something, announce something. And it could be like, this is my partner that I've been seeing, for on and off for a while, or like, you know what I'm saying? There could be some kind of something that you want to become public domain. You're ready to share it. Or maybe someone outs your secret that you were not ready to share and somebody outs it and it becomes public domain. But I like this for spirituality. Of course I do. I love this for psychic experiences. I also love this for the psychic benefactors, people that could be helping you and protecting you from behind the scenes. How cool does that sound? It sounds super scorpionic. This could even be a very important meeting behind the scenes and something that you're keeping private, but is having a very profound effect on your subconscious, on your psyche, on your healing. This could be a healing breakthrough for Scorpios. Write in, please comment below and tell us what this is for you guys. I'm so nosy for you. I love that for me, for you. Okay, so also you've got what you're building towards is a beautiful Mars trine Saturn, and it's going to create this grand water trine. I mean, it already is, but it's like really like You are like in your flow. You have this superpower this week. It peaks on Sunday, builds the entire week. You have a superpower to really align yourself with a crush that you can take seriously, with a spiritual practice that adds to your creative power, with a mentor, guru, guide, foreign experience. Something is bringing you joy. It is something that you are learning that is further informing your creative process and take your creative vision to another level. Like there's something really magical happening, but it's very stabilizing and it's like so much forward momentum. So I love this. Absolutely love this for Scorpios. Is there anything else I need to say about that? No. Then you just like chill, get ready for your 𝚘𝚎𝚘, get ready for your eclipse. You guys, the solar eclipse, even though it's with the south node, you're starting something new, but letting go of something old. It's really nothing you need or want anymore. This is like, I can't believe I used to think that way. I can't believe I used to, you know what I mean? And you're like, I feel like for you guys, it's going to be really easy to shuck off like the shed skin. And then the water trine, it's going to be really beautiful. It's going to be very, very nice for you guys. So look forward, lots to look forward to. Okay, Scorps, have a lovely week ahead. If you want even more, and if you want to get ahead of the psychic stuff, remote viewing, lucid dreaming, astral projection, telekinesis, $11.11 on the Patreon, so that anyone that has the will to learn can learn. Link in the description box below. Have a lovely week. Thank you so much for taking up the Scorpio mantle of consciousness. And until the next video, my loves, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Hello, Saggies. Sun, Moon, Risings. Welcome, Volcommon. You guys had your Pisces eclipse in the 4th house. We're the week after, closing it out, and you could have discovered some feelings or discovered that you don't have the emotional foundation for something. And there could have been, don't feel bad about any of this. This is like, don't feel bad about any of this. If you, thought you got over something and it came back up again, anything like that, if there was like a family issue or a family wound or a housing issue, a housing wound, homelessness, anything like that, could have come up for you and feeling it all over again, or if there's something happening like in the moment, of course. Um, this doesn't mean that you're gonna have like 3 years of feeling crummy. That's like, don't fear spiral, okay? You could have been trying to use your career or your popularity or your reputation to feel better about it. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure about that. How's it been? How has it been? Maybe some of that can help, and maybe you can pull some of the stress into getting things done, at work, but just don't over rely on your fame. Don't over rely on a boss, or don't get your emotional security from your professional alliances, or you know what I'm saying? Maybe this is a little bit more like parental for some of you. Maybe this is more spousal for some of you. But in any case, you're coming off of it and you had some really great earth trine energy that has made you very motivated in these areas, in the work, professional, career areas. So at least you're getting things done. At least you're mobilizing, you're in action, and you're doing the thing. So the 24th, you come into Tuesday, the quarter moon in Cancer, and this is your 8th house, and this is where you let go, let go, let God. This is where you surrender, let go of a grudge, let go of a traumatic past experience, letting go of, this is also an adjustment with bonds and boundaries. So someone else can be putting up a boundary to you. You could be putting up that boundary. You could be advocating for that boundary. There could be also an acceptance of something where you're like, okay, this is a part of me, and you know what I'm saying, like there's some kind of bond and boundary, maybe dealing with some trauma, maybe dealing with some history, past issues. But this is also a psychic house, one of the psychic houses, and so these are actually going to be more activated in October. So on one end of the spectrum, super psychic, but on the other end of the spectrum, very emotional, So you're going to have some way of dealing with these emotions to help move the energy through. So the quarter moon, you're you're starting as early as, well, I mean, you're in the eclipse already. So you're in the wormhole. And hold on, because like I said in the intro, I don't always like it when the eclipse families start with the lunar eclipse and then the solar eclipse, because people just feel like a lot of endings and death and endings and endings and endings and nowhere to go. And so until the solar eclipse rolls in, and so don't have to be too maudlin. Okay, Neptune in the fourth house could, you could be a little maudlin, but don't get, carried away. Okay, so like I said, you have these great earth energies. So transforming your self-confidence and how you rely on your own skills, talents, and abilities. And that's really where you want to pull the focus, because with Mars and the Pluto thing happening here, you don't want to, if you like over rely on somebody else, that's going to be really stressed from now until spring. And you just don't want to set yourself up for that. So it's best for you to firm up that emotional seat of security, get your home in order. If you need to downsize, save money, whatever the thing is. And this quarter moon on Tuesday, the 24th, can help you let go of an emotional attachment to an idea of how something has to be, either in the career or in the home life. And it could help you move this energy and get going as soon as possible. Then we have on Thursday, Mercury moving into Libra from that 10th house to the 11th house. And this is gonna, for me at least, wrap up like the whole Mercury retrograde from like mid-July until like September the 26th. So you may be really feeling it because this started for you in your ninth house. So August the 18th, you could have had a very big reset when it comes to your relationship with a foreigner, guru, guide, mentor, teacher. Or if you're the one speaking and sharing your story, it could be you as the speaker, or a travel experience, coming home, leaving. And that's where it started. That's where it was like, okay, this is what's going to change. Or your ideas and your beliefs and your integrity about life and ethics and morals, and what, where, how and where you're oriented here, and feeling proud of it. So what this could be leading into with your 𝚬𝚎 and then the eclipse could have to do with being proud of what you believe in, feeling proud of being a stand-up person. I told Libra this, that when your choices in life are beautiful, so are you. Beautiful life. So when you are standing on that, on your morals and your integrity, you feel like healthy pride, healthy self-esteem, and really shine there. So that's what was the beginning to be reset, to upgrade your perspective so that you're not like shouty and, fighting with the teacher. And it reaches its full moon moment, the public domain, in your 11th house of friends, groups, associations. But the South Node is here, and there's a solar eclipse here, which means starting something new based on letting something go. And it could be a relationship, an alliance, friends, groups, association, social media, or a goal or dream of yours. And with Mercury moving here from the career space, it's like you're finally putting to bed like how you're having to rethink, re-strategize, and move things around in the career, or the discussions you're having with higher ups and spousal things as well. And then the mind, you're going to be really mentally focused on maybe a social media thing, or your public domain moment is going to be this 𝚬𝚎 that helps you know where you stand, or they're going to let you know where they stand with you. This could also be something with an older sibling as well. Now, the cool thing that you've got leading up to this entire week is the Mars trine Saturn. And that goes exact on Sunday. Mars in your 8th house, trining Saturn in the 4th. This is where the rubber meets the road. You're really working out these emotional issues. You're really trying to, on some level, conscious or unconscious, figure out and strategize how you are using your funds with another person for a home purchase, or to afford the home, or to run a home-based business, or like there could be real momentum here, or that you're just trying to push for it. Be careful here, because you may not be meant to do that. You may not be meant to, maybe you're trying to push to get a friend to share a space with you and split the rent, and that could be, if you push them, maybe you get it done, but this, from the Mars retrograde, might be so problematic for you that you're like, wow, I wish I failed back in September, and I wish I would have just not tried to force it so much, because this is a nightmare. Like, you don't want to get yourself entangled into anything messy with another person, whether that's financial or energetic. Nothing with like guilt, nothing with grudges, nothing with bitterness, nothing with jealousy, none of that. You don't want to get into any of that. That's gonna really toxify that connection, and it could get really nasty. And with this public domain moment in the friends, groups, associations, you want that to be like a beautiful announcement that you have about your goals or partners, or your relationships, or your approach to relationships with other people that you align with based on a shared integrity, shared morals, shared goals, shared support. So that's how you want to orient yourself. Okay. Love you, Saggies. Take really good care. Have a great week. And it looks like you guys are a powerhouse this week for the professional stuff. So enjoy that. Take adequate breaks. Rest when you need to. If you're looking for more, there's lots more on the Patreon for 11.11 a month. Link in the description box below. However, if this is well, we part until our next video, darling. Thank you so much for taking up the Sagittarius mantle of consciousness. And until next video, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Gang, 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 gang. There are Capricorn bonus Capricorn readings on the Patreon. That alone is worth 11.11 a month. Oh my God, Capricorns. But there's so much more. We're going to get into it. How did us guys use the end of this? Well, I'm recording this like Thursday the 19th. You guys are getting this tomorrow, the 20th. This is like the sun doing all of the things before going into our career. How, like, what's going on? How are you doing? How are we doing? Pluto and Capricorn every single day. Okay. So Pluto retrograded back into Capricorn Sunday, it's September the 1st. And now today is September the 19th. I have been, one of my Pluto retrograding Capricorn things that I've been doing is every single day doing my face mask for like 15 to 20 minutes, and like moisture, perfect for this Pisces eclipse. But do something, like commit to something for your Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. It's only like a few months, and then and that's that. So do something great for yourself, empowering or pampering or grooming. Like, just find any little itty bitty little thing. Um, so yeah, how are we using this grand earth trine energy? First house, fifth house, ninth house. This eclipse is in our third house of the mind, the intellect, communications, contracts, blogging, writing, and also the neighborhood, also neighbors and siblings. So if anything fell through, if there was a communication, if there was a lack of communication, if there was a drama in the neighborhood, if there was, a falling out with a sibling, anything like that, don't fear spiral and think that it's going to be 3 years of this. It's not. Don't think that way. Okay. Um, if you think that it's going to be 3 years of that, no, it's not. It's not going to be 3 years of all of Michigas. Okay. Don't fear spiral. So we're coming off of this Pisces lunar eclipse, and you're coming into the week on Tuesday with the quarter moon in Cancer in our seventh house. And this is where Mars is, and where Mars will spend a very long time here, and in our eighth house of Leo. So this quarter moon is an acceptance, maybe a release, maybe a letting go, maybe realizations. It could be probably maybe a little emotional and kind of a little bit juicy, but There it is. And there we have it. This could even be uh now it's not like just acceptance. It's like if this is with your clients or with your audience or with your, a partner, it's like baking it in, baking it in. There could have been a very important conversation. There could have been, a realization, like a mental, maybe Capricorn, you're done thinking a certain way, done speaking a certain way, done with, you know what I'm saying? So, don't go negative, don't go Eeyore and think about like, the negative stuff of this quarter moon is just the partnerships. And you want to make your internal adjustments. So if there's something that the partner is doing you don't like, or the other person's doing that you don't like, the adjustment is a little bit more internal, but also like holding both of the minds at the same time. I know that sounds so weird, but you're going to have this back and forth with someone or the people, the public or audiences or your clients. And we have the power, and we are under so much karma and pressure to wield that power responsibly. So that's what this is. If it is, maybe it's not even you with this quarter moon, maybe it's somebody else, your partner's going through something, and it's that acceptance and being there. Maybe you just have to be there for them. Maybe you're fine. Maybe it's all about being there for your audience, being there for your clients, being there for your public, being there for your partner. And that's what that is on the 24th. Beautiful energy. The Mercury retrograde for me really finishes up Thursday, the 26th, with Mercury entering Libra. And this is it, Caps. This is going to be the last freaking like a week, like seriously, like mid July until now, until the September 26th. In our, what it's been. So it started for us in our eighth house on August the 18th. That is when we had that interior 𝚃𝚅. And that is where we began a brand new cycle of thinking. And for us, processing sludgy, tar like emotions, insecurities, doubts, and fears, and like past life issues, bonds and bondages, and traumas, and all kinds of grief, and all kinds of um, toxic ways of connecting with the world and with other people, and toxically holding on to bad emotions, like, all of that stuff. And so that was like, that was a big moment, that 𝚃𝚅. And so we're heading into the full moon for that process. And that's going to be, so it started on the 18th of August, all interior, all emotional, on one side, on one end of the spectrum, super emotional, on the other end of the spectrum, super psychic. Okay. If it were more on the psychic end of the spectrum, you probably had like a deep feeling, a deep knowing of something. And we're moving towards the 𝚃𝚅. That's going to be now all of the thinking, the truth of our bonds and our beliefs enter public domain by the end of this horoscope week. And so as early as Thursday, the 26th, with Mercury entering into this 10th house, is when the mind, we're just going to shift our focus and our attention away from pondering the thoughts of God into the career or spousal stuff, marriage stuff, our role as a parent, and the reputation, and career objectives, and maybe negotiations, meetings, and all of the professional things. But as early as Thursday, there could be that switch of focus. But that means up until then, we are really wrapping up a very long cycle from like the middle of July that could have been starting, to give stress and having us rethink relationships, our approach to relationships, our doubts and our fears, big worries, psychic downloads, processing old emotions, and then making sense of it, of how it fits into our worldview, our world philosophy. What do we really believe? And now we're done with that, because mid July was like Cancer season, taking us from Cancer season all the way to Libra season. And now we get to emerge with our sanity intact, hopefully. And for us specifically, it's definitely going to be some kind of proclamation about our relationship status professionally, or, you know, or it could be spousal. I am now married. I am now single. I am now dating this person. It could be now I'm working at this company. Now I am doing this, what's that called? Joint venture, or you know what I'm saying? But I feel like people are going to be seeing Capricorns aligned with another person with this, or it could be a release of a partner, a release of being aligned with someone. The closer we get to the 𝚑𝚤𝚕𝚗 on September 30th. But more cooler than that is when we have the Mars trining Saturn from the 7th house, our ruler in the 3rd house. This is powerful engine energy to make so much headway with another person, with the clients, with the audience, with the partners in business, with maybe like if you're talking, I feel like if we're talking to people, it's kind of like they're important people. I just don't feel like we're going to be, if we're, it's kind of like clearing house. And with the eclipse in the 3rd house of the mind, mental healing through releasing anxieties and fears and worries, and really connecting with the core belief. What do you really believe? Because if you really believe, if you really have the faith, no worries. Boundary, a boundary with that worry, a boundary with that fear. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. You're going to go there alone. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stay right here in my peace. So protecting the peace. And this could be a really powerful time for Capricorns to connect deeper with another person. This is wonderful for therapy work. Anyone doing like therapy, healing stuff. You could also be communicating very, very seriously to the public. I had such, so the night before the eclipse, this was Monday the 16th. I said something to someone, you guys, and afterwards, I felt like it was too real. Like based on their reaction, it was like, oh my God, like I broke their mind. Like what I said was just so, you can tell that their cognitive dissonance was like shattering through their reaction. Like it wasn't even like it. And I felt so responsible and terrible that because with us, Saturn in that 3rd house since March 2023 has been making us powerful communicators, powerful thinkers, and like manifestors. I was really hard on them and myself, but and I got so worried because I could feel them. I'm telling you, more and more people are getting telepathic, like, and I'm activating like people like kind of like easier now too. It's weird, but I can feel what they're feeling receiving my communication, and it does not feel good. That's like empathy, like real empathy, to feel their feelings in my body. And I could tell that they were really breaking. And I felt so bad. So I asked angels, their higher self. I communicated with the whole, you know, interdimensional team. I'm like, I went too far. And they said, no, I didn't. That's what they needed. So I was like, all right, I'm just here to do what I'm told, you know? And so they were okay afterwards, like days later, you know, they're okay now, a few days later, in the same week still. But it's like we just get the karmic kickback so fast that it's like this Mars Saturn is going to be helping us to smooth things over. If people need to smooth things over and try to work at it, try to work hard. Hopefully not. Hopefully you're not like backtracking. But if it's more positive, then we're going to be able to really connect deeply and richly with other people, or with another person, or with our partners. And it's going to be very, very like productive and fruitful and long lasting. So this could be very, very powerful for us for any kind of agreements, negotiations, and maybe even like traveling for some Capricorns. I get everything. That 𝚑𝚘𝚎𝚘 that we're kind of like building up to and more visceral, more vivid Thursday the 26th, it's in the career space. And so we are going to have a new start with the eclipse, the solar eclipse, but it will be because we're letting go of something, or we're ending something, or we're ending the way something exists. And it's still going to exist, but just not in the same form, maybe some kind of, career thing. But that eclipse is going to have this beautiful like water trines, and that's going to be really great for us. So it's going to be people that are so important for us in the month. Going to have these beautiful water trines that are going to be so helpful for us, and that says that people are going to be really, really, really important, and connecting with people organically, emotionally, really important in the month of October for us, and having a very big effect in the career, but we'll talk about that later. If you would like more, there's a lot more on the Patreon for $11.11 a month. You can get so much more of like the readings and the horoscopes, but also the teachings, lucid dreaming, remote viewing, astral projection, telekinesis. So love to have you over there. It's super magical. If you want to really juice up your Pluto and Capricorn, yeah. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much for taking up the Capricorn mantle of consciousness. Have a great week, my loves. If I do not see you on the Patreon, if I see you in the next video, until that next video, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. It's Aquarius's turn. Let's get interdimensional, guys. Aqua, Sun, Moon, Risings, welcome, willkommen. Aquarius moon here, and Mercury. Okay, my loves. So we guys had the eclipse in our second house of finances, values, self-esteem, skills, talents, and abilities. And so there could have been so many things on the spectrum here. There could have been like selling things, buying things, but also going for your self-esteem, pick me up, and it's gone. Or going to use your money for something and it's gone. So there could have been like great dreamy Piscean things, but also like the other manifestation of it. I actually had someone like not pay me like a lot of money. So it was like, and then like I was waiting for it, and then that eclipse hit, and then that's when I knew for sure that they just all of a sudden just ceased to exist anymore. It's like they fell off, like they were never even there. No digital footprint, couldn't find no trace of nothing anywhere. So, um, does that mean that it's going to be, 3 years of people not paying me? No. Don't fear spiral, whatever. Or if something shook your confidence, if something shook your self esteem, like maybe shopping always makes you feel good, and then you go shopping and you don't feel good, or something rattles you and like nothing's making you feel better or something, like anything like that. It's not some kind of like, oh, it's going to be bad for 3 years. Don't, that's just like fear spiraling. It's not that. Um, so you're coming into this week with the quarter moon on Tuesday in Cancer in the sixth house. This is the releasing, the waning, losing in light quarter moon in Cancer, which is health, mental health, physical health, your routines, your rituals, your mental health that supports you living in the moment very, very positively. So if something shook like your confidence in yourself, or like how you value yourself based on your skills, talents, and abilities. What can you do that other people will pay you for? What value do you bring to the world for everyone else to enjoy that is uniquely you? This quarter moon could help you change your lifestyle so that you can do more of that, and that's going to make you feel better about yourself and make you feel, this can also be if there was something in a relationship with like a coworker, a manager, supervisor, staff, agents, anybody that works for you or that you work with, or even like a day job. This could even be like that, like some kind of conclusive wrapping up of that. Mercury, we're going into Mercury's full moon. So as early as Thursday the 26th, you might be feeling it, where we're done with this. It's from like the middle of July. Aquarius, good God. August the 18th was the interior 𝚃𝚎𝚗𝚕𝚒. That's when we officially started this cycle, this Mercury synodic cycle, and it's a relationship house. It's in our 7th house of other people. So could have, if you're like married, it could have been more like maybe in the life of like your partner, or you're just like your approach to your partner, your approach to relationships, your approach to um, like social media, your clients, your audience, if you're a performer or if you post anything kind of, if you have a client base or service based business, that's where things are meant to be like reset and redone. And we're building this week to this final like moment where we know where we stand with how we approach people, speak to people, and start relationships, engage in relationships, behave in relationships. But as early as Thursday, the mind, we're done with this like Mercury in Virgo, because this is one of the signs that Mercury retrograded in. Mercury retrograded in Virgo and in Leo. So it was all rethinking our relationship to life, relationship to relationships, relationships to other people, and the bonds and the boundaries and the deeper feelings connected with our like inherent attachment to people and things in life. And it was honestly, you guys, this was that was the 𝚃𝚎𝚗𝚕𝚒 that almost broke my mind. So I don't know how you guys did. Maybe it was, I don't know how it was for you, but it that would have put me in the loony bin. Like if I didn't survive that, because if I that would have so I don't know how you guys did, but I was that was a big one for me. And so this is going to be the full moon to that, the full moon where we know where we stand in our world beliefs and our life philosophies. Could also be a really big moment of alignment where we are showing up with a foreigner, with a mentor, guru, guide, teacher, speaker, publisher, marketer, something like that. Or we're changing the relationship, we're changing the nature of that relationship in some way, shape, or form, and then it becomes public domain the closer we get to like September the 30th or like October the 1st. But it does have something to do with our perspective and how like our approach and our life philosophy has been. But as early as Thursday the 26th, we could be thinking and talking and speaking and more like oriented into that way. Okay. Mars, Saturn. This is a juicy one that I'm really looking forward to. Mars in Cancer, trining Saturn in Pisces in the 2nd house. So we're able to work so well and so hard to improve your self esteem or change your daily life in a way that is more profitable, that brings in more income. Or this could, if you have like an agent or representation, or you manage coworkers or staff or something, a powerful moment that those people could help stabilize our income, our assets, and not assets, our values, our, the money that we have right now. So that person could be working very hard and we could be working with them as well. But don't take it off the table about the mental health and the physical health and stuff, because Mars here is going to oppose Pluto and make some really beautiful aspects. I'm a fan of this Mars retrograde. At least it's not Mars retrograde in Aries. I already lived and survived that one. So, now but that opposition, it's like no more bullying yourself and no more bullying yourself through bad eating habits, guilty. No more bullying yourself through unhealthy lifestyle. No more bullying yourself using other people to bully you. You know what I mean? So we're done with all that. We're done with the self-sabotage. We're done with all that BS. And so powerful time, good routines, good rituals, productive, healthy habits. It's like learning to love doing what's good for you, learning to love good thoughts, good feelings, positivity, learning to love all that. Okay. So I love the trine to Saturn in the second house. Really, really beautiful stuff. And yeah, how are you using? You're getting this on Friday the 20th. You're in the middle of the sun and Virgo doing all the things before it goes into, Libra. So it's like putting like the finishing touches on issues, any kind of issues, baggage issues, bonds, boundaries, debts, loans, what you share with other people, agreements, and even I would say some form of mental health with this like Mercury stuff that's going to be finishing out next week, the middle of next week, even as early as this, because you got the Mercury square to Jupiter on tomorrow, the 20th on Friday. Square in Jupiter to the fifth house. Ooh, I kind of like that. I already covered that in another video, but um yeah, lots to look forward to. And honestly, Aquas, anything super under your skin or bothering you is Pluto in the 12th house, and you've got to confront it and you've got to get spiritual, or you're going to end up in jail, like a prison of the mind or something, or physical jail. I saw that. I already saw that some Aqua is going to like prison. So don't put yourself in prison, psychologically, emotionally, or physically. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, for you, the earth trine stuff is all on one spectrum psychic, on the other side of the spectrum emotional, super emotional, big emotion. So if you can take those as invitations to get more spiritual, like for real, and do the healing, that could evolve into psychic feats if you want. I mean, why not have fun with yourself in a new, different way? If you're curious with any of that, there's so much more on the Patreon for 11.11 a month. Give it all to you, okay? But if not, if this is where we leave things until the next video, my lovely Aquas, have a lovely week ahead. Take good care of yourselves. And until then, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah. Hello, my lovely Pisces, sun signs, moon signs, rising signs, welcome, common. You guys are finishing out your grand finale, partial lunar eclipse, and you could have had a little bit of both of the worlds. You could have found that some parts of yourself you no longer identify with because they're just not serving you anymore. And other parts of yourself, or maybe like a personal project or something you really care about in your life, is like getting firmed up, or you have an opportunity to firm it up. And through another person could be helping you to support that firming up of your character, a dream of yours, something you're trying to do. So a little bit, maybe a little bit of both. And this week you have the quarter moon on Tuesday, the 24th in Cancer in your fifth house. And this is acceptance, releasing and letting go of any creative energies wherever they may land, wherever you are when you get there, maybe accepting something with a child or some kind of like um yeah, I would say accepting something about them, or a creative passion project, or a crush. Maybe you're like, I have feelings. I caught some feels, and this is going to be, Mars is here, and Mars is going to be opposing Pluto here. So it's almost like you want to be very careful this week, because there could be, it's almost like I love who I love and your friends hate them, and it's going to be this whole epic battle between the person you're dating and then the friend group, and it could be like great for a movie plot, but or your friends don't like your creative business or your creative passion project, or they're like you've discovered some part of your sexuality that you're trying to find where you fit in the world now. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's got a little bit of that vibe to it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The Mercury story for me ends on the 26th, on Thursday, with Mercury moving into Libra. And moving into Libra, it's like this last week, you're finishing out, closing out all this old business, all the partnership stuff, like the other person and your clients, your audience, your people. one-to-one relationships and where you stand with them, where they stand with you. And then your focus shifts, the communication, the mental thinking shifts to, okay, these are the people, these are the relationships. And now we're going to focus on agreeing on adjusting expectations, setting them down, and being really clear about what you're getting out of this, what I'm getting out of this, what you're going to put in and commit to, what I'm going to put in and commit to, and put some, structure around those kinds of things. So, relief probably coming in as early as Thursday, the 26th with that. Maybe, maybe because Mercury is going to have the full moon here, their own personal full moon. So the cycle started, the synodic cycle started in Leo. Mercury's synodic cycle started in Leo August the 18th in your 6th house. And really the shadow was like mid-July that we came all the way now here to the September 26th, Mercury going into Libra. But August the 18th, something new is starting in your daily life or going to start to change in your daily life. And maybe health issues, work issues, issues with coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, staff, and maybe even mental health too. You're going to know where this all stands, especially if this has anything to do with the office or coworkers, anyone that you like see in your daily life and how you think and talk to them. You're going to see some big bulbous, like fruiting, big blossoming of that truth of that connection and all of what I just said by the time you get to the 𝚘𝚎𝚘 September 30th, October the 1st. And you could start to get some indication as early as Thursday the 26th. So that's building. And then you're going to have a solar eclipse in the 8th house. So it's almost like you know what you cannot expect from somebody else, or you know where they stand with you, or you have a very illuminated perspective on a very close relationship or someone that affected you or affects you very deeply, maybe even sexually or something like that. Another cool thing building, well, maybe not also cool, but this one really is cool. Mars trining Saturn. Mars and Cancer in your 5th house, trining Saturn in the 1st. This is so nice for if you're trying to conceive a child or a creative passion project or start to date somebody or have fun, have fun. Yeah, just like having fun. I really love it for that. But especially if you're trying to get anywhere, get ahead with something creative like your small business. It looks like you're working really hard. You're really going for it. If you're going for like a crush or someone that you love or like a lot, like I said, your friends could be kind of judgy about it. Don't let yourself get bullied by these friends groups and associations, these allies that are supposed to have your back. They're supposed to support your career. They're supposed to be, but they might be kind of controlling or they might be kind of underhanded or something. They could just have, or just or they could be conventional. They could be super conventional. And they're like, well, that doesn't fit into, my plan for you. And you're like, so, you're gonna that could be a little bit of a power struggle for like 8 months. But this week, Mars in Cancer is giving you big, juicy, gooey, squishy feelings that is helping to concretize and stabilize your character and like who you are and how you feel. So I would be grateful for that. If I had just like embraced my identity so much sooner, I would have been prepared for being on YouTube. I would have been so much better prepared for that. So the sooner you can embrace who you really are, if I can save you some time, the better. And this week, this Mars in your 5th house of creative self-expression could really help you do that. It help you stabilize a crush, help you stabilize a romantic commitment or a creative thing or something. So love it for you guys. Take very good care if you want more. If you want even more, more. There's a lot more on the Patreon for $11.11 a month. Would love to have you, but if not, if this is where we leave it, my lovely Pisces, thank you so much for taking up the Pisces mantle of consciousness. Have a lovely week ahead, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, my loves, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah.